Enough for what, Coach?
My birthday present next week, and I have my eye on some sparkly gold footy boots with some pandas on them.
Get a breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's east. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
In sparkly boots.
Gina Carl and Jeff Manolita. Really excited about this one. Will Taylor, seeing as you're the man with a microphone at the moment, I'll quickly firstly say hello to you and also get your tip for tonight's game.
Yeah, looking forward to coming out here to Bayswater over here on a Friday night. And look, I think Mulgrave's going to win tonight, purely based on the talent that Mulgrave have and obviously the inclusions that they have in the off-season compared to Bayswater. Obviously, Bayswater's a younger team, and I just think Bayswater's probably going to struggle a little bit tonight, and I think Mulgrave's going to win by at least 2 to 3 goals.
And I did just mention his name. Very excited.
Here at Bayswater, but also, I guess, considering it's the only game in football, obviously the local football-wise here in Melbourne, I just think it's great to see the community come together, not just Bayswater and Mulgrave, but also the whole eastern suburbs coming to and seeing football at its best.
Like we said, I've seen a lot of players around from various different clubs. I see a few Baronia jumpers, a lot of Division 2 pundits just coming out to scope right through. And I mentioned it before the break, Braden, that Division 2 is going to be so close that it's going to be one of those divisions where all 9 coaches are really going to need to do their homework.
Yeah, I mean, when you throw in your Croydons, your Doncasters, obviously so well last year, North Ringwood, even Mulgrave in there, and Mooroolbark as well, there's probably, 5 or 6 teams that are really up and about. And then you've got your teams like your Bayswater that there's that unknown because they've lost players. What they've also done is they've had a year last year where they had a lot of youth and a lot of younger players getting an opportunity, and they've had that year, and I think they're going to learn a lot from that. I think they'll be a lot better than what they were last year, Bayswater, in terms of this, but an open division is what we want to see. We love seeing competitiveness, and I think Division 2 is going to typify that in the EFL this year. Just
before we let you dissect this game, repeating the news that Wayne McInerney didn't pass a fitness test today and,
Correct, yeah.
and won't play in this evening's game, which Ryan James was quite happy about, actually.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. I mean, was getting a lot of different information. I was told yesterday that he wasn't playing, then he was named, and I went to the Bayswater boys and they said yes, he is playing, and now again he's out, and that's a crucial loss because he is that live wire up forward. He always finds an avenue to goal. He has been their key forward, and it's hard to say for such a small player, but he really has been their key forward in recent years. So tonight, where they're going to find goals, that's going to be the issue. Looking at that list, there's certainly some smaller, jettier-like players that are going to be quick. I don't know where they're going to get enough goals to beat Mulgrave this evening.
Look, it's going to be a pretty hotly contested game as Mulgrave run out onto the field, and here come Bayswater as well. And like I said, doesn't football look great under lights? Both teams out there on the park, plenty of supporters as the umpires make their way onto the ground as well. Super excited for this one.
Yeah, we've built it up. We can't wait. We've got a great commentary team assembled for you, and I think, look, today the back line's going to be key for Bayswater. They've got a number of players strong down there. Hayden Schroeder for me is going to be important. Cam McLeod, they're going to need a lot of run off half forward, and I think last year as well, skill errors were a key issue for them. They probably had a bit of trouble bringing the ball out of the back line. Forward, yeah, sure, they've been able to create goals, but I think tonight they're going to be under pressure in that back line. They're going to need to bring it out of there quite strongly.
I did mention your call team for this evening games before the break on the boundary. The Akira Urgent Care Boundary Riders will be Georgina Cowell and Jeff Manolita. The Choose Stats bench will be taken by Will Taylor. In special comments will be Ray Baird and Dan Campbell. Braden Ingram, obviously you've heard about, and introducing for the first time this evening, Ben Warren Smith, the broadcast manager of the Eastern Football League. Ready to take everyone through this one tonight?
I can't wait, Dyson Baker. It's a fantastic night for the league. It's a fantastic start to the year. Who wouldn't want to come to a Friday night game out at Bayswater Oval? It's where the season starts. It's where the season finishes. It's a fantastic spectacle for everybody who's involved in local football, and you still have a chance to get down here tonight and watch a pretty good game. I like to see the cars around the ground because, of course, we come here at grand final time and the crowd is just packed to the hilt right around the ground. But, of course, tonight it's back to local round one football. The cars are in. There's barely a spot right around the boundary line, so and they're still streaming in as well. So the lights look great. The ground looks great as well, which is always good to see at the start of the year. Nice and lush and nice, very nice and green as well. And I just can't wait to get ahead with this game, because I really think it's going to. We can say we like to think. It's too hard to tell. It's round one. Let's actually be all honest with each other. We actually just don't know. We don't know how well pre-seasons are gone. We know that coaches and clubs, they always talk it up. They're always as fit as a fiddle. But how they can gel that on the park, how they can put that hard work and energy of a pre-season on the park for the first game, only time will tell. We've got 4 quarters away to go ahead of us here, and we can't wait to see what will actually happen here. The home side is Bayswater. The inaugural match last year to open the season was Mulgrave taking on Bayswater. We know the result of that one. Mulgrave run away with that game, but Bayswater tonight, who knows what might happen. They might be able to get on a bit of a run. We've talked about the fact during the pre-match that they'll be looking for different avenues to score goals tonight, but they just might come as well. So only time will tell. Dan Gamble, you were on pre-match as well, and we welcome you to the special comments position for this match. Which way do you see this game going, mate?
Well, you mentioned, Ben, that obviously it's all pre-season long. We've built it up. We really don't know which way it's going to go. That's the thing. It's a new season. New players have come in. Players have got a different outlook on which way their season's going to go, of course. I'm going to go with Bayswater just purely because of what they delivered last season. Just a little bit better than Mulgrave last year, of course. But obviously we're all experts in the pre-game and in the pre-season. It could go either way, really.
It's certainly a lot easier when you talk about it before the footy starts, and it is difficult to pick who will do what on a night like this. Round one across all 4 divisions, it's so difficult to do your tipping. A lot of the times you might even actually go for the home side because it seems to be the easy way out. A man who never ever takes the easy way out is the old man, the guru of the Eastern Football League, Ray Baird, and he joins us on special comments tonight. Good evening to you, Raymond. Turn yourself on, mate. You're off to a fantastic start for the season. There's the button right there. Welcome, mate.
Good evening to you, BWS. And you're right, I don't take the easy way out, and I don't pick the home side because tonight I'm going for Mulgrave to get up and win 2 in a row in these night games. Look, I look at the Mulgrave side compared to the Bayswater side. Mulgrave has still got some very great footballers in there. Dean Sakulas, Adam Booth down forward, their co-captain Robbie Edwards, David Wather, who basically won this game last year on his own boot, and Tim Knowles. They've got a great midfield there, and also add to that Nauru Jamer. Whereas I look at the Bayswater side, there's been a lot of outs during the off-season for Bayswater, but look, they're a very young side going into this Bayswater, but look, they've still got some great players there, but I just think that Mulgrave's going to be the side down to get up and win this.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you, Ray. I've gone with Bayswater, and I've got to stick to that because I'm not about contradictions on this media team, but as I said earlier, who knows?
Let's cross down boundary side for the first time this evening and introduce our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders, Jeff Manalitza and Georgina Carl. Jeffrey, which team are you backing tonight, mate?
Yeah, g'day, Ben. Tonight I'll be going for Bayswater, following them tonight. Home ground, beautiful conditions out here, as you said. And look, I think their midfield way too strong for Mulgrave tonight. The likes of Callanan, Winterton, Grubb. So I've also got the bench for you early on. So the bench tonight's starting for Bayswater: Grubb, Wallace, Jackson and Gordon.
Fantastic stuff. Georgina Carl is riding shotgun alongside you today on a picturesque Bayswater Oval. Georgina, who do you like tonight?
Boys, I reckon Mulgrave are going to get the job done tonight. I think it's going to be survival of the fittest and they'll get across the line.
Fantastic stuff. Great to have the Akira Urgent Care boundary riders on board. We're only moments away from the start of the season. An epic 2014 season is upon us, and Braden Ingram is going to take us away.
It'll be Mulgrave kicking to the right of your radio dial. Nevins goes up against Goldsmith, comes to ground. No real centre clearance to start. Good wrapping up tackle to begin with, and we'll have a ball up. Umpire gets the ball straight back from a go from Gladman. Ball thrown up again. Nevins run it, brought it to ground. Again, scrappy footy. Tried to get a kick out, couldn't. The ball's laying on the ground. Handball, they're out now. Bayswater out the back on the far wing. Now good wrapping up tackle. Long bomb's going to send it to half forward. Mulgrave got a couple of numbers. Good marks taken. No, it was dropped in the end by Gilling. Ball's come out wide. They just need to hold it up, and they do. Good mark taken. And they won't muck around here, Mulgrave. They'll send it forward. Ball, mark dropped there by Ryan Hanley for Bayswater. He's in there. Couple of good bumps laid. Frenetic start. Players diving all in over each other, and eventually the umpire's circling will ball it up right on 50 for Mulgrave. They've got the first attacking area of this game.
And nobody's taken the incentive yet. Look, the very tight opening, nervous opening to the game.
Brought down there by Gladman. Scrappy kick forward. Who's going to be able to kick it up? Bayswater just had to get it out. Mark will be taken. Just holding it up here. They've got a bit of space. Oh, played on. Bad decision. And what's the umpire called? He's pulled off. 25. Heads it out to far wing. Good mark taken by Mulgrave. And it is Ben Gilling who's got it. He's not going to muck around. It's a scrappy kick, but it's brought to ground. It's Mitch Galvin who's got it. Brings it out to the far wing, and again, Bayswater through Rajab. He's done well to get it. They're using a bit of run and a bit of speed. They've got handballs back, a scrappy, and again, Bayswater putting themselves under lots of pressure close to the boundary line, and eventually that's where the ball ends up. Throw in centre wing position.
Bryce Galvin's going to be working very hard tonight, boys. If you notice, every time the play goes on, the forwards from Bayswater are just pushing up the ground, and this is what's happening at the moment as Mulgrave go forward.
Free kick to David Wazer from the stoppage, but they've moved the ball forward now, Mulgrave, and they get the first inside 50 of the day, going up towards the booth direction. He got one bite on it at the front of the pack. There was Barker, got a dribbler of a kick away, but it was safe enough, and it trickled over the boundary line and out of bounds. So we've gone 2.5 minutes here in the opening match of the EFL season here out at Bayswater Oval. It's a great sight to see. Nevin's got the knockdown that time to Galvin. He was quickly wrapped up in a tackle, got the handball away to Murray, tried to look for a teammate there in Handley. He was dispossessed of the football. Ball trickles away once again. That was okay. Nicely left there, Murray. Blader Shepherd got the handball, but boundary line beats all players, and we'll have another boundary throw in. Still in the forward 50 or thereabouts for the Mulgrave Football Club as the umpire throws it in. Nevins over the back of the pack. Looked like there might have been a bit of a high tackle there. Nicely done there by Handley to get the handball out. The kick goes along towards the wing position. Bouncing football over many people's heads here. Comes out towards the direction that time of Howe. On the right boot, goes across the face of the park, and it was a good kick too. The first switch, the first bit of play for the crowd on the grandstand side out here at Bayswater Oval. The kick goes up towards the Cheeseman direction. Dropped what he probably should have taken. Was quick enough to get the handball away. That was okay. Doyle sold some candy. Tried to be maybe a little bit too clever now. It could be Bayswater the getaway. Tackle was good though by Mulgrave. Caused the possession to get dispossessed, and there'll be a free kick going up along centre wing to Jamar. So Naru Jamar, been a good player for Mulgrave last year. Kicked up towards centre half forward. It was a decent enough looking kick too for the booth direction. He went after it with one bite, hit the deck and went after it again. So he held the ball in nicely there. We'll have a bounce about 70 metres out from the Lions goal.
This last piece of play when Mulgrave have pushed forward, they've had a spare man running through the middle in Chris Doyle, so it's not surprising that they've been able to surge forward.
Howe was on hands and knees. Galvin came in, tried to get a handball away. The umpire said he was fouled upon, and there'll be a free kick going towards Bayswater. So Joel Galvin, the captain.
Bit of niggle here. This boy's getting a little bit ferocious, just decided might as well get it out of the system early, Ben.
A little bit of argy-bargy. Tim Knowles was the man who gave away that free kick. It'll be the skipper, Galvin. He'll go backwards to go forwards. It's a risky kick when you're kicking towards the booth direction, who actually ended up giving away a free kick. It'll be Cam McLeod to clear the way for Bayswater.
So out on the far side, they're not going to muck around. They move it quickly. Mark's taken. They're going to head to the centre ground. Bayswater. It's a poor kick and it's cleaned up. Look to be Gilling on hands and knees. Handball out. Bayswater just scrapping here. Ball's almost thrown out. Snap around the body comes from Willsmore. It's high. 35 out from goal. Crushing players came to ground. Ball came through. Gave the handball off there. Did Eddie, but couldn't get through for the goal. Snap's going to come round. It's looking pretty good, and it is just through for one behind in the end. No, Stadium. Wazer couldn't keep it. Managed to keep it in, but couldn't keep it from going over the bounds. Out of bounds. He's tackled 15 around from the Mulgrave goal.
Both sides are putting enormous pressure on the ball carrier, and consequently it's a very congested game at the moment.
So Nevins in there again. He brings it around, smashing ball, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Let's cross down boundary side. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Jeff Manalitza.
Yeah, the captain, Joel Galvin's just come off. Looking like back problems at the moment. We'll see how he goes for the rest of the night.
Yeah, check him out, Jeff. I think he may have just been winded there, so expect him to come back on.
Nevins and Gladman go up. Nevins again, he's been strong early in the ruck. Tried to break a couple of tackles there for Mulgrave. Couldn't. Ball again to ground. A lot of tackling pressure here early. Probably hasn't been able to find too much space either side, Dan.
Yeah, well, Ray touched on the pressure here. I think Bayswater are under a lot of pressure in defence. We've seen a couple of risky kicks in the last couple of minutes.
Ball spills through the arms there. Tim Knowles couldn't do much. It's scrubbing along the ground. Kick off the ground. Comes straight into the arms of Perry Cole. He's got it. He's going to switch to the outer side. He's got a man running for him in Sia Corliss. Couldn't take the mark. Trying to paddle it along to himself. He's got pressure coming along there from McGilvray-Smith. He's done well here. Ball coming back. Trying to get it back to Cole. Couldn't. But Mulgrave are going to go high. It's a high ball up in the lights. Mark couldn't be taken in defence for Bayswater. Again, they're managing to get it out. And it looked to be Whitted and trying to get the handball away. And under pressure, they just can't seem to get it away. Ball's come back to, it looked to be McGilvray-Smith along the far side. Mark's been taken. No, in fact, it's rolled out on the full, and it'll be Mulgrave to bring it back into play.
You can read the Mulgrave game plan. Obviously, every time they've gone in a 50, they've kicked the ball high, hoping that Booth can take the big mark. But what they've got to do is lower their eyes a bit.
Centre half forward is the position here. Can Bayswater get themselves out of trouble? A handball that probably wasn't a handball worked out okay. Now they stream through the middle of the ground. Kick goes up towards the half forward line. There's two players down there. Bayswater had to beat 3-on-1. The umpire said it was fair play. Cole on the left boot gets a little chip kick out towards the Doyle direction. The boundary line might beat him because Metin Musa is right on his hammer, and over the ball trickles for a boundary throw in far side of Bayswater Oval. We've gone 7.5 minutes here in the first term, and nil is the score apiece as the umpire throws the ball back in now. Callanan went up in the ruck that time. That was a little unorthodox. Doyle on the left boot. His kick was half smothered. Didn't gain valuable meterage at all. Bayswater will get another chance at it. Once again, a ferocious tackle's been laid. Nicely done there by that player in Wazer. Forced the ball up, and we'll have that very stoppage once again.
Just looking at both sides across the ground, boys, while the stoppage, Mulgrave look a lot bigger all over the field.
Gladman got the knockdown. It was very close to the boundary line there. It was trapped by Damien Murray, but he was dispossessed of the football and told all about it as well as the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. Far side of the ground here. 8 minutes style by Murray. Goes up towards the half forward line, but to no avail, and the mark has been taken down there. That's Daniel Stokey on the left boot now. Goes short. Well, that wasn't too crash hot, was it? Because the mark has gone straight down the throat of Damien Murray, who was the man who kicked it up towards there only moments ago. A good crowd out here at Bayswater Oval. The fans, they want to score. The kick goes inside forward 50. The mark was nicely taken there by Perry Cole. Got the quick handball away. That was okay. Chris Doyle sold some candy. Goes across the face of goal. It was dangerous, and the kick wasn't too crash hot either. And the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. 25 metres out from the Bayswater goal.
And Bayswater are swinging the interchanges there, boys. So it's a pretty warm night. The players will be coming off and on all night.
So the umpire to bring the ball back in now. Callanan from the back, got over the top of Gladman. Nice little handball there by Doyle. Found his teammate, but the momentum took him over the boundary line for another boundary throw in. 30 metres out from goal from Bayswater's end.
It's been similar for both sides, hasn't it? Just bombing it inside 50 and hoping for the best, and under a lot of pressure the opposition as they try to clear.
Absolutely loving the pressure so far, and loving the way that Perry Cole's gone about it too, because he has got a lot of possessions. Eddie got received the handball and goes the straightest way that you possibly can. Big kick up towards the half forward line, going after it there and hitting the ground there was Willsmore. He needs to pick up, get up and go after it again. In fact, it was Booth. Sorry, I should have known that one. Sia Corliss now on the left boot, inside forward 50. His kick wasn't too good either. It was intended for Gilling. He might get another go after it again, but chasing after it there was Leach. Fisted the ball away. That was very good play. Got it across to Vanderlack. Got the handball back inside. It might go back to Vanderlack now. Instead, it goes to McGilvray-Smith on the right boot through the middle of the ground. They drop what they probably should have taken there. Bayswater, the handball over the top there by Bryce Galvin. Was trapped by Eddie. He got the handball away to Parker on the left boot. Goes up towards the half forward line. It was a good kick, but it just went too wide. Ben Gilling was there to take the mark, but the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. And speaking of the boundary line, we'll cross down to Jeff Manalitza thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Joel Galvin, just some lower back problems. He's had a bit of a rub, and now he's ready to come back on.
Can we cross to Wilbur? I want to know the inside 50s for Mulgrave, Will.
Yeah, choose tap. Will, you got the stats?
Mulgrave 10, Bayswater 3.
Thank you, Will. Clearing kick's going to come out. Bayswater, their scrambly defence. It's not pretty, but it's working. Centre wing, they're just trying to bang it forward through a couple of punches. Not exactly sure what to do with the handball back. Trying to hold it up. It looks to be Daniel Rajab. He's got it. He's kicked everything into the back of a Mulgrave player. And again, diving, good mark taken there. Looks to be Vanderlak. He's got it. His kick smothered. Geez, go back on the mark, boys. Take your time. Couldn't do much. Rajab did well to clean it up. And close to the boundary line, they're putting themselves under plenty of pressure. They just need to get it on the boot. They're choosing to handball. Intended target was Vanderlak. He did eventually get it on the boot towards the wing. It's going to work, but no. Mulgrave couldn't take the mark. Diving in there was Goldsmith. Bayswater our way. Good bit of running play, and they've got a chance to bring it inside 50. Intended target with the handball there was Alan Wallace. Missed him. He's in there diving in, as is Mitch Jackson. Ball's going to come high. Shot for goal. It's the first score of the night, but it's to the right-hand side. It's one behind. It's taken 11 and a half minutes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Bayswater one behind, and Mulgrave yet to score.
Look, the Waters were away then, boys, but obviously you can't hit targets going inside 50.
Speaking of not hitting targets, they certainly didn't do that on their way out. The mark's been taken by Carlos for Bayswater. Short kickers on. Ryan Hanley takes it. Usually a good, clean possession winner of the ball. Goes back to Carlos. About 75 metres out from Bayswater's goal. Pretty open 50. It's cluttered outside the 50. The short pass was back to Handley. He goes into the middle of the ground. That was okay. Barker now creates a switch and goes out wide. They're working this switch okay, Bayswater. They just need to spot up a target inside 50, and it was a good lead, and a good mark has been taken out there by Ash Vanderlak, and he'll go back and have a shot for the first goal of the EFL season from about 45 metres out.
Bayswater have certainly settled in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Early on it was all Mulgrave, and as I said before, Mulgrave's had 10 inside 50s without scoring, whereas Bayswater now, this is probably their 5th or 6th one, and they're setting up for their first goal.
Well, he fancies himself from this position, Vanderlak, and what a fantastic kick that is. First goal of the season for 2014 goes the way of Bayswater, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross the 13-minute mark of the first term, they move to a handy lead at this point in the game of 7 points. 1-1-7 plays yet to score.
We can certainly see what Bayswater are trying to do in this opening term. I think they're really relying on a very running style of play and a link-up style of play through the middle, and it hasn't worked for them for the first 10 or so minutes, but as Ray said, they've really settled a bit and been able to hit targets, and it's shown on the scoreboard in the last 5 minutes.
So, back in the centre, going up in the ruck, it's the 2 number 10s. Booth was in there, but Bayswater again scrapping out through Joel Galvin. He's diving in, looks like his back's all better. But Mulgrave on half-back, trying to get it out through Darren Butler. High ball's going to come to the wing. They can roll if they want. Just going to hold it up here, and it's in the hands of Daniel Stokey, the Mulgrave captain. He doesn't have too much. Looks like he's thinking of switching, but instead he's going to go long down the line, and it's a poor kick out in front of the Mulgrave bench. It's out on the full 70 metres around from the Bayswater goal. They're going to give a chance to send it back forward once more, and they're not going to muck around. Short kick comes back into play. Mark taken there by Schroeder. He heads back to full back, and the mark there taken, and they're away through Samuel Reeves. Again, they've switched to the other side of the ground in the pocket. The ball's in Benny Barker's hands. He's got a good kick and a good marks taken. Carlos will look to be. He heads to the wing, and they've got space to run if they want it. In the hands of Mitchie Jackson. Heads up to half forward. Mark couldn't be taken there, but they've got numbers if they can just put a bit of tackling pressure on. And there, the Mulgrave do get it away. It's another poor kick. They're struggling to get it out of defence. And Mitch Jackson brings it back in. Short kick to Handley. He has to put himself under a fair bit of pressure to get it out there. He's diving in once more. Jackson's trying to provide a bit of help. In the end, we'll have a ball up 65 around from the Bayswater goal.
Yeah, look, the Bayswater side, they've certainly settled, and at the moment they're playing much better football. They're lowering their eyes as they go forward, and that's a big thing that Mulgrave are not doing. They're just bombing the ball into their forward line.
Free kick from the stoppage, and Evans was all over his opponent. Fair one in the end. Mulgrave aren't going to muck around. Handball out the back. Again, it's a contested possession, and no one can really get in there and get clean disposal. Couple of handballs out the back, and Mulgrave now just trying to get it out. They do. They get a bit of space through the centre of the ground. Rain to a big, strong tackle from Travis Gordon, and in the end, it's going to be holding the ball. Got monstered, and a very good tackle on looked to be Brad Fowler. So they don't muck around. Bayswater are looking to make that a bit of an attribute as Rajab's got it. He heads to the outer side to his captain in Winterton. Just going to hold it up and just chipping it around, getting a couple of nice disposal. Rajab's got it again. true centre wing position. He's a classy player, this man, and just chipping it around, waiting till they find a target. They bombed a little bit away early in this first term, but now the chipping game seems to work. Mitch Jackson's got it, still probably 80 out from Bayswater's goal. He's got a lead, and it's mark almost taken. Two Bayswater players almost smothered each other, almost a push in the back there on Damien Murray. He went to ground pretty easy though. Rajab's in there again, scrapping, trying to get it through. Got a handball out. Looked to be Nevins, high ball to the top of the square. It's a 2-on-1 situation with Bayswater. Big punch there came from Robert Edwards. Ball sniffing around 35 metres out from Bayswater's goal. They're just trying to find a target. Handball out. Winnerton shugged the tackle, and he's got a high tackle.
Ooh.
Maybe a little bit lucky, but he'll go back and shoot for Bayswater's second goal. 35 out.
I think he's more than a little bit lucky. He certainly ducked into that one.
You've got to want the football though, Ray, and certainly Neil Winterton in that situation was the player that went the hardest at it. So if you're going to cop a soft one high, you'll take the free kick.
Oh, fair enough.
Good start here for Bayswater. Certainly surprised me here. Bit of youthful exuberance as this man, not so youthful, comes in. Neil Winterton on his way. Does he like it? No, he doesn't. To the left-hand side, just one behind on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 17 minutes played. Bayswater 1-2-8. Mulgrave yet to score.
Well, the ball's brought back in. They're wasting no time with it, Mulgrave, certainly on the kick-ins as the ball now drifts up towards the wing position. Which way will this ball bounce? The umpire said it was a chop of the arms. Free kick will go the way of Galvin for Bayswater. Hanley's in the middle of the ground. On the right boot now, it was Mitch Jackson, goes up towards the half-forward line. Ball was fisted away. Doyle might be the first one to meet it. Right there for support was Parker. He was happy to see it over. Right underneath the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, which at the 17.5-minute mark reads Bayswater 1-2-8. Mulgrave yet to score. And, of course, Mulgrave were inside 50 several times in that first 5 or so minutes and couldn't manage to get a score on the board. Knowles was in there from the stoppage. The kick goes out towards the wing position. Coming in there was David Wazer. He got dispossessed of the football and might get another go at it there. Going after it that time was Robert Edwards, the co-captain. Got a little handball backwards to go forwards. He was looking for Sean Lester. Boundary line beats all players. Let's go to Will Taylor thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Inside 50s at the moment. It's Mulgrave 11, Bayswater 8, and Bayswater had the last 6 inside 50s. Free kick count rate 6-3 Bayswater.
Don't be afraid to speak into the microphone, Wilbur, as the ball comes out towards Mitch Grubb and it gets a handball away towards Galvin of the Joel variety. He was tackled very nicely there by Luke Parker over the boundary line and out of bounds.
They're making it very difficult for Bayswater to score at the moment, Mulgrave. There's no one within 100 metres of the Mulgrave forward line. Of course, flooding the front back half of the field.
Ball comes back into play, overrunning at that time there was Carlos. Couldn't get a possession, but he had some support. The kick goes inside forward 50. Kohler's getting a heap of it so far. Got dispossessed of the football. McGill Smith got a snap around the body. Got a handball away. It trickles over across the face.
Result.
Yeah, it was a good result for Bayswater. They'll take that because effectively the other side of the ground was opened up for Mulgrave if they could get a quick kick in. So they'll certainly take that boundary throw in. Bayswater lead this game as we almost cross time on here in the first term of the EFL season as the umpire throws the ball back in now. Which way will it fall? Knowles is there. So too is Booth, who's come down to take up in the ruck. Goes after it again. Bangs it on his boot. Gets it out of that danger zone. It was a good kick too. Up towards the wing position. Who'll be the one to fly? And the umpire will come in and say, well, that was over the boundary line and out of bounds, Damien Murray, although it was an interesting looking handball that you had going there. But I think he'll take the boundary throw in also.
For me, just a couple of players that have stood out. I think Mitch Jackson and Rajab have probably been the two that have really stood out to me so far. Dan, who else have stood out to you, mate?
Neil Winterton's been workmanlike so far, and he's had a fantastic game in this opening term.
And Carlos has had a lot of the ball as well.
Umpire throws the ball back in now. At the fall, the ball there was Brad Fowler on hands and knees. He's not going to let anyone take that away from him, and will result in a ball up. Hands it back to the umpire now. Almost stolen there by Mitch Grubb. It's time on's called. About 80 metres out from the Bayswater goal line. High throws the ball up, comes down towards Joel.
That's the value of having a small forward playing in front. The kick wasn't the best. It was a scrubby old kick, and it went straight to Mitch Grubb because he was playing in front of his opponent.
But at the moment, I mean, that's the thing. They're getting a lot more forward entries, aren't they, Ray? It's scrappy, but it's getting in there.
They are, but what they're also doing is when the ball's going in there, they're forming a wall across that 50-metre arc and not letting it come out again.
Grab a couple of hops, skip and jumps, comes in. He likes it, and so do the Bayswater faithful. A sensational start on opening day of the EFL season. It's Bayswater 2-3-15. Mulgrave still yet to score on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We're approaching the 22nd minute mark.
Well, he'll enjoy that moment, Mitch Grubb. Of course, his first game for his new club this year. He wants to make a good impression, and what better way than to kick the second goal.
Well, 22 minutes have gone here. Expect this term to not probably last the distance of 30 minutes in a low-scoring affair. There have been many stoppages, though, as Gladman goes up in the ruck. Probably got the knockdown there. We'll give that one to him. Coming through and getting the handball away was Fowler. Backwards to go forwards. He got it back again. Kick up towards the centre-half ball position there for the Mulgrave Football Club. Going up there was Schroeder. Couldn't quite pull the mark in. Edwards came in for support. So did Dean Siakoulis on hands and knees. He'll hold the ball up, if not receive a free kick for copping one a little bit too high. Three-quarter sleeves. Siakoulis drives the ball very long. It was a sensational kick too. Fantastic stuff. Booth just knows where to be, the big full forward, and he'll go back and have a shot from about 40 metres out, 50-degree angle.
The big full forward, he come off the interchange then and ran down the boundary. That's how come he knows where to be, straight off the interchange. Very smart football.
Yes, very sneaky. So, Adam...
He's got to kick this. He's got to kick this because Mulgrave's had a lot of the play and they haven't got a goal yet.
Adam Booth. Distance certainly won't be a problem. Will the accuracy be straight? It's a good-looking kick off the boot. I think he might have snuck this one home, the big full forward. First goal on the board to the Mulgrave Football Club, and they narrow the margin back to 9 points. 2-3-15 is Bayswater. 23 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Mulgrave have got their first, and Booth has his first too.
Yeah, and look, they had to get that goal because the first 10 minutes of this game, they were all over Bayswater. They had 10 or 11 inside 50s without scoring a goal. Then Bayswater set themselves up for the quarter, and that goal just evens up the scoreboard a little bit coming up towards the quarter time.
Will Taylor, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
At the moment, Mark's inside forward 50, 3-1 to Bayswater, and at the moment, centre clearances is 2-1 to Bayswater.
Well, you can add another one to that from Mulgrave. Got it down there to Siakoulis, and Mulgrave threatening again. Handball out, snap's going to come, well smothered. Mulgrave, if they can sneak a one on here, they'll be right back in. The ball's come out to Rajab, and they're away on the grandstand side, but it's a poor kick. 2-on-1, did well bringing it to ground. There to McGilvray-Smith, and he's trying to lay a tackle now on Doyle. Doyle got it out to his teammate in Perry Cole. They can just slow it down. They're going to head into the centre of the ground. It's a risky kick. Mark couldn't be taken. Maybe chopping of the arm. It's going to be play on. Jackson's in there. Put his teammate under pressure there in Cam McLeod. Handball out. Approaching the Mulgrave bench. They've got numbers. They've just got to use them. Did well in the end there. Did Timmy Knowles. Got it out to his teammate there. Jamar's going to get it high. But Bayswater got the numbers. Mark taken easily in defence. And the skipper, Joel Galvin, just puts their hands up and said, boys, let's slow it down. Switches to the outer side. And they're going to move it quickly, though, Bayswater. And they've got a bit of space on the wing if they want to run. Instead, it's hold up there. And high ball was Sean Leach out of that is the siren. And Bayswater, they take a very nice lead into the quarter-time break, BWS.
Fantastic start there by the Bayswater Football Club. It wasn't as high scoring as probably everybody out here at Bayswater Oval would have hoped for, but at quarter-time here in the first match of the EFL season, it is the home side. Bayswater, 5 scoring shots to 1 in that opening term. 2-3-15, plays 1 straight 6. The goal kickers so far, Mitch Grubb has 1. He kicked the second goal of the term, and of course Ash van der Lack open proceedings for the season. Adam Booth came into play right before the end of that first quarter to narrow that margin back to 9 points. So at the moment this game is right up in the air, Raybed.
Yeah, look, the big difference I see between the two sides is the way they deliver the ball into that forward 50. Bayswater, when they go forward, they lower their eyes and they hit their targets on the chest, whereas Mulgrave all quarter, when they went inside the 50, too much airtime. They kick the ball too high and it gives the defenders every chance to come over the top.
They've got to be very careful, Bayswater, coming out of the defence. So I noticed on a number of occasions, Chris Doyle for Mulgrave is lurking around the wing centre as a spare man. And I noticed in that last passage of play there, as Bayswater were trying to escape from defence there, that he was just there, 2-on-1 situation, and Mulgrave are always going to win out on that situation.
EFL Game Night on 98.1 Radio East, and we hope you're enjoying the broadcast so far. It's a low-scoring affair, 2-3-15. Bayswater lead Mulgrave 1 straight 6. We'll be back after these few messages from 98.1 Radio Eastern for all the action in the second term.
On Monday nights from 7 till 10, Trevor Bransgrove presents Monday Magazine, which comprises interviews, music and a special segment from 9 to 10 of Music for Relaxation, a pleasant way to wind down at the end of the day. All this on Monday Magazine, Radio Eastern, from 7 till 10 on Mondays.
What was wrong with you blokes yesterday? You were playing like you'd been stuck in traffic for an hour before getting to the game.
Coach, there was a railway crossing gate down for ages.
The other mob thrashed us. You ran out of legs.
They all have breeze tags, Coach. They use EastLink. They get to focus on the match rather than focus on inching forward in the traffic.
Get a breeze tag and use EastLink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's east. Arrive fresher, play better. EastLink, it's time better spent.
Program sponsor.
How would you like your coffin to look?
Oh, I'd like pictures of all my cats.
If I could have a coffin that looked like my SS Commodore, that'd be grouse.
I'd love it covered in flowers and pictures of my kids.
Make mine navy blue with 16 premiership cups.
Well, at Tobin Brothers Funerals, anything is possible, including a custom-designed and decorated coffin to celebrate your life. To find out more, visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
Had an accident on the field? Head straight to Ikira Urgent Care for immediate medical treatment, and you won't have to wait. For a maximum of $75, we'll treat your broken bones, sprains, strains, cuts, or any other game day injuries. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Ikira Urgent Care. We have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
On EFL Saturday, it's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Welcome back here to EFL game night at Bayswater Oval. It's been a pretty frenetic start to this game. It's Bayswater, though, the home side. They lead at 2-3-15. Mulgrave, 1 straight 6. So far, the goal scorers for Bayswater. Mitch Grubb, he's kicked 1. Ash Vanderlack, he has also kicked 1. And for Mulgrave, the big forward, Adam Booth, he's kicked 1. Now, the big man with the stats, Will Taylor, you've got them all. Go through them for that first quarter, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start off with the marks inside 50. Bayswater 3 to Mulgrave 1. The opposition marks inside forward 54 to 2 to Bayswater. The possession count at the moment 76 to 53 in favour of Bayswater. The clearances at the moment is 9 to 8 in favour of Bayswater. 76 around the grounds, 2 apiece in the centre clearances. The hit outs, Bayswater 14 to Mulgrave 5. The free kick count, Bayswater 6 to Mulgrave 4. And inside forward 50, 14 to 10, but Bayswater evening up a little bit late in that quarter with a 7 to 4 in that last half of that first quarter. And at the moment, 2 to 1 Martin's goals coming out for Bayswater to 1 goal to Mulgrave when they've got the mark inside forward 50.
Cheers, Will. Now, the two men in special comments this evening, Dan Campbell, Ray Baird. Take us through that first quarter.
Well, they certainly got a lot of the ball both sides. Especially Bayswater. As we saw, they weren't able to hit targets early on. They were quite rushed and obviously focusing on a running game plan. But they got it together in the last half of that quarter and it netted them 2 goals. 3 behinds. They maybe could have been a bit better going forward. But let's see them correct that up in this second term.
I think you were right, Dan. I think that they started very nervous, Bayswater, but they're a very young side, and I think that was because they were such a young side, and they took a little while to settle down. But once they did, their delivery into the forward line was certainly very good. Mulgrave, they come out of the blocks, they were flying, but once again, their delivery into the forward line was terrible. They just gave the Bayswater defenders every chance to come over the top and spoil the ball.
Well, let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to our boundary riders tonight, Georgina Carl.
Boys, I've got Mulgrave coach Ryan James with me. Ryan, what did you make of the first quarter?
You probably want your money back if you paid to get in. I think it was a 0-all draw. I thought we were on top early. We just didn't use the ball well, and then once they got a little bit of ball, we were just probably too sloppy with our defence.
And what was the message to the players at the break?
Just composure. I think we're on top in general play. I think we're butchering the ball. It's like we're kicking with our opposites.
Thanks for your time, Ryan. Good luck going into the second quarter.
Great stuff, Georgina Carl, speaking to the senior coach of the Mulgrave Football Club, Ryan James. Now, of course, everyone who was here, including the coach, Ray Baird, has seen that it's a scrappy start. But let's face it, players haven't played football for the last 6 months or so. But instead, I'm going to cross back down boundary side because Jeff Manalitza was over at the Bayswater huddle. What did Neil Winterton have to say, Jeffrey?
Yeah, Neil basically said it's all about composure and patience, and we saw that in the first quarter. They really slowed the ball down instead of going to a 3-on-1 contest. They spotted up targets and they lowered their eyes, which resulted in a couple of goals in that first quarter. They also said to lock down the ball in the forward 50. push numbers down and keep it in there. Trav Gordon, he got congratulated for a couple of great tackles, and they said it's all about continual discipline and backing their skills.
Second quarter about to get underway here. 2-3-15 Bayswater. They'll be kicking to the right of your radio dial, the Mountain Highway end, if you know Bayswater Oval. The umpire holds the ball aloft, and Braden Ingram to take us away for the second term.
So it's been a strong first quarter. We'll see how the two teams react. Never's got it down to Rajab. Couldn't do much with it. His kick was smart. It came out the back to Musa. He did a bit of work. Galvin's got it and is going to head out to half forward. 2-on-1. Bit of work to do here for Bayswater. Got a bit of time there though. Side a bit of Kennedy. Handball to himself there to Callan, and worked himself into a lot of trouble. Then coming in there was Lester. He got wrapped up in a tackle, and we'll have a ball up just in front of the Mulgrave bench. Speaking of the Mulgrave bench, I saw Luke Parker run down quickly into the rooms, but he looks like he's back down there now. So both teams still looking to have a full complement. Third man up there was Blake Dixon. Ball does eventually roll out of bounds for a throw-in, still in front of the Mulgrave bench here. Nice crowd packed into Bayswater Oval. It's what we want to see Friday night footy here. First game of the EFL. Ball came out to Musa. His target there looked to be McGilvray Smith. Ball bouncing. McGilvray does got it. Got a bit of a high tackle. Shrugged one. Got it out to Cam McLeod on half forward. He's got a handball away. Trying to work around now Bayswater. They're just mucking around. They got slung around in a tackle there. Did Carlos, and eventually Mulgrave move it quickly. 80 out from goal. Cole's got it. He'll wheel around. High footy. Trying to crumb there. Look to be Doyle. Ball's going to come out towards the goal square. But Bayswater do well. They kill it. And they have their first minus score this evening, Mulgrave. They're 1-1-7. They trail Bayswater 2-3-15. 1 minute played for second term.
What the Bayswater defence do very well is when the ball's kicked high to a tall Mulgrave forward, they're prepared to leave their man and come and give him support in the contest.
So Ryan Hanley now for Bayswater. Always such a good getter of the ball and such a clean disposal. Certainly doesn't waste it on this occasion. So Bayswater, they're in the back pocket. They'll do it bit by bit. Callanan on the left boot goes up towards the half back line. Mark's been taken. This time it has been by McGilvray Smith, I think it is down there. No, in fact it's Carlos, who's had a lot of the ball in that first quarter. We know that Ray Baird mentioned him earlier in the piece.
My man.
Short passes on. Mitch Grubb kicked the second goal, I should say, of the game. Goes back to Galvin of the Joel variety, who spots up Leach. They might have created the switch here, Bayswater. The kick goes up towards the direction of Ben Barker. He doesn't waste any time, gets the kick away, and now the Waters are away through the middle of the ground. Short passes on. It was a scrappy kick, but it was nicely taken there by Carlos. Got the little handball away to Schroeder. On the left boot, searches it inside forward 50. The big pack flies. No one could pull it down to ground. Getting on hands and knees with Sia Coolers, trying to wrap up his opponent in a tackle in McGilvray Smith, and he did that. And the umpire will bounce it about 40 metres out from Bayswater's goal line. Throwing the ball up now. Dixon went up in the ruck, couldn't quite get a clean disposal. Butler goes after it. He got gang tackled to the ground. The umpire said that was a little bit crude, and he'll receive the free kick. Gets a handball out wide. They might use the grandstand side of the ground here, Mulgrave, as the kick goes out wide. Mark's been taken. Kick along the wing position. It's a one-on-one situation. Who's going to win this one out? It was the big man Booth. He's a clever footballer. He copped one high. The umpire let that one go. Got the handball back towards Leicester. Got the handball over to Wazer on the left boot. Nearly could have been downfield. That was a good kick too. The umpire didn't pay that. Mark Knowles is there for support. Well done there by Eddie. Picked the ball up, goes in towards the middle of the ground. They've got players everywhere, the Lions. The mark has been taken by Darren Butler. It looked like he wanted to go on with it, but he just slowed things down enough. Kicks it a ball inside forward 50. Who'll be the flyer here at the fall of the ball? Rajab. He got gang tackled by one opponent and will have a ball up about 40 metres out from goal.
I think the tackling of both sides has been really ferocious, particularly in this second quarter. I think they've lifted up a cog.
Pyer throws the ball up now. Nevin's got the knockdown. Mulgrave might be able to get the spoils here. Kick on the left boot by David Wazer. It's going. It floats across to the left-hand side. Minus score is the result. That's the second blemish for the Mulgrave Football Club on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard at the 4-minute mark of the second term. They move to 1-2-8. They are trailing by 7 points. Bayswater 2-3-15.
If you remember, David Wazer was the hero last year for Mulgrave in this game. I think he kicked 4 or 5 goals and really dominated the second half. Hasn't seen too much of it, but lurking a little bit to do some damage this afternoon. Ryan Hanley brings it out to the scoreboard side. A mark taken by Jackson. He's been able to find a teammate once more. 70 out from the Mulgrave goal. They're just going to chip it around here, and they've done that pretty well so far tonight, Bayswater. They've been able to take it out to the outer side. It's what they're looking to do now, but there doesn't seem to be too much on. Now he's got a lead. This could be a bit risky. Instead, they're going to head inside, and a good mark is taken there, and they're out now. They can roll Bayswater. Poor kick intended for Hanley. Missed him. But they've still got time, and they've got numbers. Keeping the ball in there was Rajab. Put a Shepherd on. He's done really well. Hanley's got it. Kicking board. Still, they haven't progressed particularly fast. Still only probably 70 out from their own goal, but they've just brought it to the other side. It's in the hands of Damien Murray. He had Handley short, instead decided he'd head to a contest. It's not a great kick, and it's out of bounds on the full. Poor, considering it was under no pressure.
What Mulgrave are doing so well at the moment is playing man-on-man football, and Bayswater have really got to make the most of those opportunities like they just had just then with a couple of players loose.
Sean Lester had the free kick, sold some candy that didn't really get bored in the end, and Bayswater have got it back. They mucked around with that there, and the ball is McGilvray-Smith. He got one, was brought to ground, and eventually there, Bayswater, they lose possession, can't seem to bring it inside 50. Tim Knowles has got it, back to Lester, handball in more, big bump coming, he rode it well there, did Jamar, and good tackle
Great
there,
tackle.
laid there by Ryan Hanley.
He's been super, Hanley.
I was going to say the exact same thing there, Ben. He has been right in the middle of things, especially in the start of this second quarter. He's found Galvin. In fact, Mitch of variety. He heads wide. Mark looked intended for grub. He couldn't take it. He was cleaned up there eventually by Doyle, but it spills out just inside the forward 50 of Bayswater.
You mentioned Ryan Hanley there, BWS. He has been super so far. In and around the packs, tackling pressures has been top-notch so far.
Back in, Bayswater looking to strike the first blow. Coming over the top there was Joel Galvin as the third man. Couldn't do much. Tackle wrapping him up, and there'll be a ball up. So a good, clean start to this second quarter. We've played 6.5 minutes. There's a 7-point lead to Bayswater. Third man over the top there was Dixon. Kick will come out. Ball just bounces over the head, but did well there, did Wazer. He got wrapped up in the tackle. He's over it, trying to get it back. Got it out now, broke the tackle. No, the umpire said it's going to be a ball up. And just as he got out, he's going to ball it up in the end. Nevins, Gladman go at it again. Pretty even. Gladman just won it. Nevins got a second tap on it though. Trying to break a tackle here. Selling a bit of candy here is Grubb. He's found a good target in the second.
Spot.
Looking at McLeod. He's done well. McLeod's now going to roll on the left. He's got a target. Good kick. No. Try to one grab it. Couldn't. Trying to break around handball. There comes to Galvin in the end. It's Bryce. Snap round the body is just off to the right hand side. Missing another opportunity, Bayswater. And they now lead it by 8 points. Dan Campbell.
Boys, these drop marks, is it a thing of night football that don't get to play very often and the lights are getting in the way of the eyes, or what's going on?
It could be a little bit of dew on the ball too now because the night's settled in and the ground's a little bit soft.
Kick goes up towards the wing position, looking for Robbie Edwards, the co-captain. He was dispossessed of the football. Bayswater will charge forward again. Handball streams out towards the direction of Callanan. Got it across there to his teammate in McLeod. Moved it on towards Rajab. He got tackled. Handball over the top. It came into the arms of Young for Mulgrave. He had poise. He had time. It was a skew-if kick off the boot, but it might just find touch here. If Leach can't get onto it, he does so. Kicks inside forward 50. He curled it back nicely, looking for his teammate there in Jack Callanan. Ball fisted away from him, and we'll have a boundary throw-in about 40 metres out from the Bayswater goals.
At this stage of the game, I think that Ryan James will be pretty happy with his defence down there because Bayswater, they're not getting any easy shots at goal.
Callanan goes up in the ruck, got the knockdown there to Ash Vanderlack. He was wrapped up nicely in a tackle. That was a good one there by Matty Young. Brought him to ground, and we'll have a bounce. Still about 45 metres out from the Bayswater goal line. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. It's an 8-point ball game. The home side lead it in Bayswater. Jamar, he got it from the ball up. Got dispossessed of the football. The umpire said play on. Winterton came in to lay a tackle. It was a ferocious one at that. And we'll have a bounce on the 50-metre arc.
I really like the way Mitch Grubb's setting up at the moment. He's a small player. He's a smart player. He's front and centre at all times. And just before, he could have been away if he didn't roll over the boundary line.
Paya throws the ball back up. Rajab copped one over the head. The umpire didn't see it. Picked up there by Jamar. Got the scrambly kick away to no avail though. Leach on the right boot wants to square the ball up into the middle of the ground. It was a risky kick, but it was okay. The little handball over the top there by Jackson might find Hanley on the left boot. He's good on both sides. Kicks it up towards the grub direction. He'll go after it. In fact, at that time it was Schroeder. Couldn't quite grab the ball in. Picked up nicely there by David West. Got a scrambly kick away looking for Sia Coolers. He needs to shrug a tackle. He lost the football, but he regains it 55 metres out from goal. He kicks it inside forward 50 odd, dropped what he probably should have taken there at the last line of the forward line. There was Booth. In fact, it was knocked away from him. It was Ben Gilling. I knew it wasn't Booth, and it's gone through for a goal. Amazing off the ground.
The big guy. It
was Thomas Gladman who's put that goal through. So fantastic stuff there by the Mulgrave Football Club. Never let die, no matter how close it is to the goal line. Always keep your eye on the football. And Gladman, and we spoke to Ron Gladman at the start of the game in pre-match, gets the second goal on the board for the Mulgrave Football Club. All of a sudden we've got a 2-point ball game. It may only be 10 minutes gone in the second term, but it's Bayswater 2-4-16 leading Mulgrave 2-14.
Did well in the end there. Mulgrave Wazer got his kick smell, and Gladman was just there on the line, wanted to kick it through, and he just showed a bit more composure than everyone else. It's Nevins the ruckman. He gets the clearance. First the ball looks to be Perry Cole. He's just juggled the ball though. He's put himself under pressure. Good gang tackle in the end. Ball spilling out, and Mulgrave just trying to get a bit of composure. They use the ball by their high tackle there. It looked to be coming from Jackson, and they'll get the free kick. Will Mulgrave, not going to muck around. Look to play on, but it's going to come back. Wasn't on his mark. And they'll just have to hold it up. 55 around from their own goal. Mulgrave, just a chip kick over the top. A little bit risky. Mark was taken there. Looks to be in the hands of Rhett Willsmore. He's directing play, motioning, saying, boys, move for me. He doesn't have too much on. He's going to go long bomb down.
On his tail, letting him know that it was touched off the boot. So good work by both umpires there, talking together, sorting it out over a chin wag, and the right result. Handley on the right boot. Normally such a good kick, but it comes down to Eddie. He gets a handball across to Booth. He's at the top of the goal square, the big man, and he'll slam it home. You can mark that one down for a 6-pointer. And Mulgrave, at the 13-minute mark of the second term, they hit the front for the first time in this match. It's a 5-point ball game. 3-21, Bayswater 2-4-16. It was a sloppy kick out, Ray Baird, but the good players are going to make you pay.
Yeah, look, the Mulgrave in this quarter, they've certainly gone up a cock, and everything they're doing is correct, and it was a sloppy kick out because he had nothing to kick to. Mulgrave are forming that barrier across the 50-metre arc, but when the ball goes in there...
To be Butler in the end, and again, another tackle. This pressure's really increasing in the last couple of minutes.
Oh, certainly. And Jamar, every time he goes near the footy, something exciting happens, and that was no exception. Then he was just unfortunate to get tackled.
So Dixon over the top was beaten in the ruck that time.
Booth, he might actually get pinged here. Great tackle there by Mitch Galvin, and we'll have a bounce about 40 metres out directly in front of the Mulgrave goals. 4-3-27, plays 2-4-16. Handy 11-point lead now to the Mulgrave Football Club as Booth got the knock on it over the top there. Fowler came in. Knowles also as well, lending some support there was West. He was wrapped up in a tackle. Nicely done there, and we'll have a bounce. Still around about that 40-metre mark out. As Cam McLeod picks himself up for Bayswater. Directly in front of the Mulgrave goals. Nevins almost got in the back of Booth there, but got the nice little fist away. Went into the arms there of Cohen Howe. Welcome back to the Mulgrave Football Club. He'll hand the ball back to the umpire just inside the centre square here. As we get a restart, Nevins over the back, got the knock down. A lot of players form around this football. Joel Galvin is not letting his opponent, Tim Goldsmith, go anywhere, and we'll have another bounce. Paya throws it up. Both players went underneath it. Eddie might receive the free kick here. No, it goes to Gladman. Against Nevins this time. Kicks the ball inside, forward 50. It's an interesting looking kick. Galvin's there to mop up for support. In there is Ben Barker on the right boot. Kicks it up towards the wing position. You can hear the fans screaming, hold the football. The umpire said, well, that was a little bit too crude and have 25 metres for your efforts, Luke Parker. The ball's in the arms of Alan Wallace, and he'll move himself up towards the centre wing position. Got short options on, might squeeze it in to square things up. He does so now. Finds Carlos. They'll go backwards to go forwards, Bayswater. They did this okay here in the first term. Mitch Galvin now on the right boot switches it further afield. That was okay. Gordon on the right boot goes up towards the half-forward line. Bayswater, they've still got the numbers. Wallace backwards. Leach will take it in the middle of the ground. It was a risky kick, and now the turnover's on. The handball by Stokey goes over the top. Sits up very nicely for Mulgrave. Bouncing football. That's a fantastic kick going on board there. I think it might have been Tim Goldsmith that kicked that, or in fact it was David West, number 33, and he's put through the 5th goal on the board for the Mulgrave Football Club at the 19-minute mark of the second term. Well, they've been doing very well in this term, have the Lions. 5-3-33 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 2-4-16 Bayswater.
BWS, you mentioned the Mulgrave open forward line. That's exactly right. And what they're doing when Bayswater are in possession, they're flooding the back half of the field, but they're also working very hard run-wise. They've be able to work it forward and get those runners out, and that's what's happened again, time and time again.
Turnover there, just cruelling Bayswater when they seem to be in control of the footy. Trying to take on the game in the centre of the ground. We've got a player limping off here, which is costly. They can't afford that. Just trying to see who it is. Ball's back in the centre of the ground. The Akira Urgent Care Boundary Riders will have that information for us just in a second. And we've got a ball up in the centre of the ground, but it is Sean Leach limping off.
Will Taylor, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Yeah, Mulgrave really dominating this game so far. Inside foot 50s, 9-7 for Mulgrave, but
Boundary.
the particular one at the moment is the round the ground clearances 9-2 for Mulgrave.
Jeff Manalitza, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Yeah, Sean Leach, he's come off. Not very happy. Looks like he's done a hammy. He'll be gone for the rest of the evening.
So intended target was met, and Musa couldn't take the mark. Just in front of the Mulgrave bench. They're going to keep it in, leading the chase. A couple of Bayswater players couldn't get there in the end. It was Vanderlack and Cam McLeod trying to get there. We've played 20 minutes. We've developed a sizable lead here, Mulgrave. 17 points in a low-scoring game. And it looks to be Schroeder. He's in the ruck trying to do his best. Clearance came out from Mulgrave. Did really well. High ball, and it's going to work here for Ben Gilling. He's got pressure from McLeod. McLeod does well. He's a strong young lad, and he sees the ball over the boundary line just in front of the Bayswater bench. 50 around from Mulgrave's goal.
Sean Leach is done for the night. It's a huge blow for Bayswater, as they're already finding themselves nearly 3 goals down in the shadows of half-time, and obviously hugely taxing game tonight with no one played footy for months.
So, got it out there to Bayswater with a big punch. It's heading towards the ground. Jamar's going to be able to keep it in. No, he can't. In the end, it's actually, Naru Jamar. He sees it over, and just heading into half-time, both teams with an opportunity. Mulgrave can increase their lead, or Bayswater can just get it back. Schroeder working in the ruck there again against Edwards. No clear winner. Wrapped up in the tackle there.
Number 3, just outside 50, Ray.
And right on half-time, if he kicks this, it's really going to hurt Bayswater. But look, I just think that Mulgrave, they got on top in this quarter mainly because of the big ruckman. They're getting the clearances out of all the stoppages, and that small guys are just run.
The margin now is 17 points. Can they stretch that? The ball's coming back. It hits the pine. Halfway up, one behind is the result. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 23 minutes gone. We're into time on. Only a few minutes remaining, you would expect. 5-4-34. Plays 2-4-16 as Bayswater. They might use the grandstand side here. Short pass will be on. Safety in numbers in the back pocket. So the mark has been taken there by Grubb. In fact, it's Schroeder on the left boot. All the way down in the back pocket. Long kick out towards the half-back line, and it was a nicely contested ball there. Bayswater, they've won that one. Short passes on into the middle of the ground. That's okay. Musa is about to receive it from McGilvray Smith. Got it across the centre half-back line. They've worked the switches really well, Bayswater. It's just their entry inside forward 50, which has been letting them down. The mark now has been taken by Jackson. Here kicks the ball up towards centre half forward, and that same disposal that I just spoke of has let them down. Booth, who's drifted down from full forward, got the little handball away. He might actually receive this one back. No, he had some running support there. Oh, the boundary line beats the player in Perry Cole, and over the boundary line she goes. So only moments to go in this second term out here at Bayswater Oval. It's a 3-goal ball game. The umpires pulled out a free kick. It'll go the way of Bayswater as Booth was running away with that one. So Jack Callanan on the right boot. Short passes on to Musa. They're going wide as they go inside forward 50, and it really hasn't been working for them, and once again it hasn't. Jack Callanan tried to rip it in with the one arm, and over the boundary line it goes, 55 metres out from the Bayswater goals. Pye to bring the ball back in. Comes in now over the top there was Edwards. Got the knockdown. Quick kick by Mulgrave. Went into the middle of the ground. That was okay because Ben Gilling stood in front and took the mark. Kick up towards the half-forward line looking for his teammate out there in David Wazer. Schroeder's there to mop up there for Bayswater. Swings around on the left boot. Goes up towards the Hanley direction, who started this game in electric form but has been quiet in the second half of this second quarter. Goes into the middle to Musa, who in the last few moments has come alive in this game. Little handball away. The umpire said that he threw it away in the end. Couldn't get hand to balls. The siren goes to reach half-time out here at Bayswater Oval. We've had 2 short quarters. The second one only went for 25 minutes and 11 seconds. But it's a handy lead. A great second quarter by the Mulgrave Football Club sees them go into half-time at 5-4-34. Bayswater at 2-4-16. Let's go through those goal kickers. Booth has 2 for the Lions. Stokey has 1, as does David West and Thomas Gladman. Over at Bayswater, Mitch Grubb has a goal, as does Ash Vanderlack. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care, Jeff Manalitza.
Yeah, I've got the assistant coach here for Bayswater, Carl Barker. And Carl, disappointing second quarter. What happened in that quarter?
It's just the turnovers that are costing us real bad. We're going direct into centre half forward, wrong kick sometimes, and bangers coming straight out. They've got the numbers pushing straight down the ground, and 4 of their goals this quarter all come from turnovers.
And so improvement in the second half in what particular area?
Usage of the football mainly. That's got to be it. Our pressure's been good at stages, but the use of the ball has just let us down. So that's going to be the key now, using the ball right.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time.
Great stuff. Jeff Manalitza down a boundary side, speaking with the assistant coaches, and the Bendigo Bank scoreboard at half-time. It is a 3-goal lead to the Mulgrave Football Club. 5-4-34. Plays 2-4-16. We hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern. We'll be back after the break to speak to the new EFL's operations manager, and of course Mr. Top 50 himself of the Eastern Football League, Wayne Brasher, will join the panel at half-time as well with Dyson Baker. We'll be back right here on 98.1 Radio Eastern in just a few moments.
It's that time of the day when you want to add some musical flavours to your morning.
Cafe Classics, adding that extra bit of spice. It's your time out. Thursday mornings, 9 to 11 a.m.
with Deanna Roberts and Rick Dunn.
Cafe Classics, here on Radio Eastern 98.1.
Pete's Midnight Lounge, featuring a variety of music from the 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond. We have great music, story time, Shiloh Country, hosted by our resident DJs, Peter O'Connor and Cameron King. So tune in after midnight, every Friday night, for late night entertainment.
Good news, boys. It's 20% off to travel on Eastlink on weekends and public.
Hawthorn and Fremantle, the grand final replay, as they said. And at quarter time, Hawthorn certainly went out of the blocks. At quarter time, Hawthorn 6-2-38, leading Fremantle 1-2-8. The second quarter has just got underway, and it's currently Hawthorn 8-2-50 to Fremantle 1-2-8. So Hawthorn kicking away there, lead of 42 points early in the second quarter. Major goal scorers for Hawthorn: Smith has 2, Birchall has 1, and Bruce 1. Major possession getters for Hawthorn: Shields 11, Lewis 10, and the only single goal kicker for Fremantle at this stage is Pavlich with 1. And collection disposal persons: Johnson 7 and McFarlane 6. And we'll give you another AFL score update a little bit later on. This is EFL Game Nights, and our big game this evening out there at Bayswater under lights is Bayswater versus Mulgrave. We'll be back to the boys at Bayswater in just a moment.
Had an accident on the field? Head straight to Ikira Urgent Care for immediate medical treatment, and you won't have to wait. For a maximum of $75, we'll treat your broken bones, sprains, strains, cuts, or any other game day injuries. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Ikira Urgent Care. We have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
EFL.org.au is a must visit for the die-hard Eastern Football League fan. In our news section, check out the latest news, feature articles and video programs, including the Friday preview. Have your say in the EFL poll, tip against your mates in the Vibromania tipping competition, and voice your opinion on the mighty EFL forum. Best of all, you can listen back to any EFL radio program at any time. To go live and local for your footy, head to efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Yes, welcome back to Bayswater Oval, and a bit of a close encounter we've got outside Mulgrave, just getting on top in that last couple of minutes of the second term. Out here at Bayswater Oval, it is half-time. Mulgrave leading 5-4-34 to Bayswater 2-4-16. Don't forget to tweet us at Footy EFL on Facebook. We are Footy EFL, and make sure you check out the EFL website, www.efl.org.au. My name is Dyson Baker, and welcome to the Pie Shed halftime show. The Pie Shed pies are absolutely delicious, combining fresh meats and vegetables with just the right combination of herbs and spices. The Pie Shed offer 40 varieties. Yes, that's right, Dan Campbell. 40 varieties of pies with a reputation second to none. See Mark at the team at 295 Canterbury Road in Bayswater, or call 9720 7711. Will Taylor, just quickly to you, where did Mulgrave win it in that second term for the Choose Tap match stats?
Yeah, it definitely was around the grounds in that premises. It was 12-4 in that second quarter, which takes the overall total in the round of grounds to 18-11. But Bayswater was still in the centre clearances. 4-1 in that second quarter, 6-3 overall in that centre clearances. Bayswater actually had a lot more ball, had a lot of the football in that second quarter, and overall they actually, in the kicks, they were 92-79 overall, 55-33 in the handballs. Have a look at the inside forward 50s, 12-7 in that second quarter, 26-17 inside forward 50 overall, and the hit outs still Bayswater was favourite 30-19 overall, 16-14 in that second quarter, Dice.
Very, very comprehensive, as always, Will Taylor. And look, I might be new to the AFL offices and just started this week. We also had a few new additions earlier on in the year. Darren Goldspink coming on to replace Michael Vozzo as head of umpiring, and another position that needed to be filled with obviously Phil Merton becoming CEO of the Eastern Football League was the football operations position at EFL HQ, and the man that filled that joins us right now. It's a very good evening to Matt Bishop.
How you going, guys?
Look, very well. How are you finding your first EFL encounter, a Friday night game under lights?
Oh, it's been terrific. It's a fantastic crowd down here tonight, and it's a really great night for football. So, Bayswater started really well, and they probably should have kicked a few more goals in that first quarter, but then Mulgrave got the ascendancy in the second quarter and starting to kick away a little bit there. But it's a good game and good crowd, and everyone's excited about footy being started.
Exactly right, and obviously a long off season, and you jumping on board towards the start of this year. It's been a pretty busy time at EFL HQ.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a busy time at the moment, and now it's great that footy's finally underway. There's been a lot of planning and preparation in the last month or two, and everyone in the offices has been really excited all week, and all the clubs just talking to them during the week. Everyone just gets all the practice matches out of the way. The real stuff starts tonight, and there'll be a lot of teams really keen to do well tomorrow as well.
Matt, great to speak to you again, albeit in less formal circumstances tonight, but I'll have to crane my neck up to talk to you as we're standing up. But how's the process gone with night football? Obviously, it's been going a couple of years now. Has it been an ongoing discussion over the pre-season of the future of Friday night football kicking off and perhaps becoming a permanent fixture throughout the course of the season?
Oh well, when you're playing in front of good crowds, when there's a lot of people around kicking off the season, and you've got a good facility down here at Bayswater too, with the lights being excellent. So I can't see any faults with having a night footy, and onwards and upwards from here. But it's a great night for football, and everyone's really keen.
Is it something that the league's obviously put a lot of effort to it, and the councils as well? But from your perspective, if you were still playing, when you were playing football, did you love night footy?
Yeah, I thought night footy was great. It's something a little bit different, but I mean, all these guys are training at night, so they're all used to it, all the conditions. So, but night adds a different perspective. The ground's a little bit slipperier, and it's exciting though. It's good that a lot of people down here too.
As Dyson has just mentioned, you're new to the job, Matt. What have you found? How have you found the job so far, and what have been the challenges that you've confronted in your short tenure so far?
There's been various challenges in the role, and like I was saying before, there's a lot of planning and preparation that goes into the organising of a competition, and with the EFL being
Canterbury Road, Bayswater. Dan, where is this game going to be won and lost from here? That is the question. Mulgrave getting up late in that term. What's the difference from now? I think it's just all to do with calming down. The first half's gone, that's finished. Calming down, being able to hit up targets. We're seeing a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes from both sides. Handball, by foot. I think we tend to forget they do train at night. So night football's not a whole new concept to them, and that's not an issue. So I think going forward that Bayswater obviously haven't been so clean going forward. What Mulgrave are doing, they're going man on man and flooding that Bayswater forward line. Exactly. They've got to have runners at the front of the pack to be able to do what Mulgrave did in that quarter, is just really turn the ball over very quickly and run forward and kick those opportunistic goals, because 3 goals down in a game, low-scoring game, is not ideal.
You're right there, Dan, because I actually thought all of a sudden Mulgrave just upped the intensity a little bit, and as Bayswater were moving the ball into the forward line, they weren't able to find a target. They were forced wide, and then every time they went backwards and started to play sideways, as soon as they made a turnover, Mulgrave were ready to pounce, and they paid for it 3 times.
What Bayswater have been unable to do as well is take that strong mark at centre half forward to really set them up. No. They've often worked it well to centre half forward, but often found themselves in a bit of trouble either by playing on, dropping a mark, or anything like that. But I think what they'll be doing in this quarter is they'll want to correct that up if they're to get ahead in this third term.
And no one's really owned the corridor either in this match.
No, definitely not. And Doyle's playing loose, I noticed, in that first half, so Mulgrave would really want to make the most of that.
Well, we've pretty much dissected this one completely from start to finish in about 2.5 minutes. We'll head back to Barry Cotts in the studio for a very, very short break, as both sides have just entered Bayswater Oval once again. You've listened to the Pie Time halftime show here on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
If you're looking for some melodic music, then why not join me, David Wood, on Friday mornings at 9 for 2 hours of tuneful tunes in Morning Melodies. From arias to harmony, from classics to Celtic, from vintage to vibrant, great music lives on Friday mornings at 9 in Morning Melodies.
It can be difficult booking an appointment with your GP when you need medical care urgently. But at Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic, you don't need an appointment and you don't have to wait. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. We'll have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back out to Bayswater Oval. We're about to get underway for the second half, and well, you've just heard the boys through the halftime analogies, and well, what we thought was a pretty scrappy game in the first half. It's probably fair to say that you expect that, and it'll
have it again. Of course, Bayswater down to 3 players on the bench. We see a bit of argy-bargy. Sean Leach, he looks to be done for the night. He's done a hamstring. We've had a free kick pulled out from a bit of that argy-bargy. He's going to go the way of Bayswater. It's what they need to send it forward early and just get a little bit of momentum in this third term. Not too sure. It's with Joel Galvin. He's not sure what to do. Instead, he heads it out to the outer side. Little chip kick over the top. It finds Mitch Jackson. He's going to bring it in board. Good kick, and Cam McLeod, he's got it now. Not going to muck it around. High ball, standing to the top of the square. Got a couple of leads coming flying through there. Mark was almost taken. Bayswater have got a lot of players trying to crumb the footy. They've got time. Had to get it away quickly. Did Vanderlack. Ball's going to come out to Rajab. The Doc, as they call him. Slips over. Got back up. Got around a man. Handball out comes to his captain, Winnerton. He almost kept it in, but a good thing it was called out of bounds because it was a shanking kick and it went out on the full. So luckily, it'll be a throw-in just in time, and Bayswater can keep it inside their forward 50.
That's what Daniel Rajab does best in those high-pressure situations, just being able to spot up a man when he's got 2 on his tail.
Umpire gets back into position. Throw it back in. It's just outside the forward 50 for the two sides. Took his time. And Mulgrave bring it down, but Bayswater's going to work for them. Trying to get around the tackle there was Musa, and it's a poor kick. He slipped over, he got back up, and it was very similar to the Winterton kick. Out of bounds on the full, and it'll be in the hands of Luke Parker to try and rebound from Mulgrave. He's got it, sends it into the centre of the ground. It's a good kick, still inside the defensive 50 mark, taken by Chrissy Doyle. He sells a bit of candy, gets around his man, will head long into the centre of the ground. He's heading out now towards the wing. Almost a free kick against Bayswater. Umpires play on. Good tackle laid there by Galvin of the Bryce variety. He's done well, and it will be a ball up. So we've played 2 minutes in this third term, and it's an 18-point lead to Mulgrave. Nevins won it down, letting to chase the ball from Mulgrave. Couldn't do much, though. And it still plays diving, and Rajab's in there getting gang tackle. It'll be a ball up, 70 out from the Bayswater goal. Only one behind Bayswater able to kick in that second term, and Mulgrave certainly did get on top. Adam Booth, the leading goal scorer so far, he's kicked 2. Ball came down. Again, players diving, and Mitch Jackson's in there laying a tackle. Umpire might ping someone here. He's overing. He is holding the ball. It's going to go against, trying to see who's on the bottom pack, against Mulgrave.
Bayswater
I think
free kick.
It is a free kick going to go the way of Rajab. He's got it. And the classy young man, what's he going to do? Kick over the top. He's got a target. It's a poor kick. And now Mulgrave are away.
They are indeed. The kick was half smothered there off Darren Butler's boot. He got dispossessed of the football, and now Bayswater get another chance to go forward. Neil Winterton, strong hands by the coach.
Certainly no surprise to see Neil Winterton in and amongst that. He's been everywhere tonight. He's had a good game.
Certainly be leading the charge for Bayswater to get back in this match. They're kicking towards the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Nice little fist away there by Tim Goldsmith. Wanted the safety of the boundary line, couldn't quite get there. Pack forms around that very line, still stays alive. Nicely done there by Gladman. Got it across to Eddie. Got boot to ball. Kicks it out of that danger zone. That was okay over the back of the pack. McLeod couldn't quite trap the football. Eventually did. Got it across to Joel Galvin. He was dispossessed of the football. Got the handball up in the air. Murray tried to trap it. Stacks on the mill, and we'll have a ball up about 75 metres out from the Bayswater goal line. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Georgina Carl.
Now, boys, I haven't heard you mention Wayne McInerney's name tonight. He was a late withdrawal from the game, and Bayswater's biggest goal.
Teammate comes back towards the Carlos direction on the right boot, goes out wide, and now they have a little bit of a run up towards the half forward line, coming out and almost taking it. Well, it was a pretty easy mark, Jack Callanan, but he had time to scoop on it, picked the ball up, swung around on the left boot. It was a high up and under. Joel Galvin goes after it, couldn't pull it down on the second bite. Eddie got the little handball away, and now Mulgrave might be away. West goes after it, little snap kick around the body. That was okay. Now Perry Cole in the middle of the ground. He can kick the ball up towards half forward. The ball's got to sit up for his teammate across that half forward line. It does so now. That was okay there by Stokey, the co-captain. Got a little handball away. He might get it back here. It was tricky, but he got it. Handball on forward. There's no support. There's good tackling, though. That's fierce tackling. Lots of pressure in this game, and we'll have a bounce about 55 metres out now from the Bayswater goal line.
It's a carbon copy of the first quarter, except that it's Bayswater this time who's got all the play and can't put it on the board.
So the umpire throws it up and out she goes, 75 metres out. Bendigo Bank scoreboard at the 6.5 minute mark, 5-4-34. Mulgrave plays 2-4-16 Bayswater.
I think a lot of Bayswater's play in this quarter has been from Mulgrave just bombing it in, and Bayswater have had the numbers down back to set up.
Umpire brings it back in, pretty even disposal there. Little snap around the body coming. Mark taken, no, dropped in the end. Should have been taken there by Gilling. Couldn't, they're under pressure. And Galvin in the end, Mitch had to be careful. He might get out the full he has. He could have rushed it. Instead, he tried the really dinky kick, looking for Rajab, I think it was. It's out on the full. Free kick goes the way of Robert Edwards. He's got it tucked in the right forward pocket.
Got to have a ping from here.
And he looks like he will too. Tucked up against the right-hand light post here. He's going to come in. Is he going to play on? No. The conventional drop punt. It's not bad. He gives the double fister too. He loves it. And he has kicked their sixth. That is a sensational kick from Robert Edwards. As easy as you like. Strolled in. And, well, Mulgrave extend their lead. They are 6-4-40, leading Bayswater 2-4-16. 7 minutes played, Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
You've got to be simplistic at times, don't you? And on this occasion, the drop punt did the job perfectly. We saw up the other end last quarter a banana kick that ended up in the car park, but the drop punt on this occasion, it's a very handy goal there for Mulgrave as they extend their lead again, and it's an important goal in a very low-scoring game.
Umpire throws again. Bayswater through Galvin, got the handball away now into the arms of Daniel Rajab on the left boot. He's been good tonight, kicks the ball inside forward 50, bouncing ball at the back of the pack. He'll be the first one to meet it. Mitch Grubb at the fall of the ball, paddles it to his advantage, but over the boundary line it goes, 35 metres out from the Bayswater goal line. They need a goal in the next 2 minutes, Ray Baird.
Yeah, they certainly do. Look, but they don't look like getting one, Ben. They've got all the play, but they certainly don't look like scoring.
Pye to bring the ball back into play. Good crowd out here at Bayswater Oval tonight. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast as the umpire throws it in. Rajab on hands and knees. He was tackled there by a Cheeseman. In fact, it was Matty Young at the fall of the ball. And the umpire will once again cross himself and restart the game as throws it up now. Over the top there, Callanan got the knockdown. That was okay. Joel Galvin almost got legged. He played for it. The umpire said it was fair and we'll have another bounce. It's squared up a little bit now, 40 metres out from Bayswater's goal.
You look back down the field, there's nobody in that forward 50 on the Mulgrave score. If I was Bayswater, I'd like to just have someone down there, because if they turn the ball over, it's going down there.
Eddie got the little quick kick away. It's across the half back line here. Grubb comes in for Bayswater to lay the tackle. That was okay. Nicely picked up there by McGilvray-Smith. Got it across to Galvin of the Mitch variety. Snaps the ball inside forward 50. He was looking for his brother. He almost copped one high. He's screaming for a free kick and going after it there. Matty Young laid a ferocious tackle. Almost could have been paid in the back. But once again, over the boundary line it goes. Jack Callanan will hand the ball back to the umpire. It just actually fell inside the line. So we'll have a ball up, and as if on cue, it goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. Will Taylor, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Ray, about Bayswater really dominating this third quarter in possessions. Inside forward 57 to the Bayswater. Hit outs a 10-1 in favour of Bayswater. Clearances 5-2 in favour of Bayswater. The kicks at the moment 19-13 in favour of Bayswater.
It's all about putting the score on the board, isn't it, Wilbur? As Rajab goes after the ball once again, and we'll have another stoppage.
Boundary.
9.5 minutes gone in this third term. It's a 4-goal ball game as we cross down boundary side, thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Jeff Manalitza.
Yeah, Ray hit the nail on the head. Neil Winston in the first quarter said, let's hold the ball in our forward 50, and that's exactly what they're doing at the moment.
Galvin came over the top, got the knockdown, then regained his own football, got the handball out to Grubb on the left boot, pushing it left. It bounced over for one behind, so the margin back down to 23 points now. 2-5-17, plays 6-4-40, 10.5 minutes gone, third term.
That's got to be almost one of their first scores in about a quarter of football now. It's been a long time between drinks for Bayswater. It's not even a goal. Ball in the hands of Luke Parker. He heads it out to the scoreboard side of the ground, and pretty happy to control it, Perry Cole, at the moment. He's just going to work it along centre wing. Mark was almost taking time to take the one-hand grab. Instead, it's going to work. Carlos wants it in the centre of the ground, won't get it. Poor kick inside 50, missed the target again. Mulgrave bomb away, and it's a good kick. They can roll if they want. Mark was taken by Gladman, the ruckman. He gave the ball off, and that is another poor kick. It'll just look to be bounced out of bounds. No, it's out on the full. Bayswater have the free kick, and it looks to be Grubb looking for Carlos. Missed his target, but it's going to work for Galvin. Gives the hands off. So a bit of Kenny there. Did look to be McLeod. On the wing again. They're just bombing away. Another turnover. We heard at quarter time their assistant coach is just killing them in terms of the turnovers. And again, Mulgrave working it well. Got around a man, Doyle with a spin. Had to give the ball away. Carlos leading the chase. Picks it up. Handball inboard. Gives it to his teammate McGilvray-Smith. He goes long. Galvin's there. Could just bounce through. And it does. A sensational goal. That's what they needed. McGilvray-Smith took it upon himself from just inside the centre square. Launched it. And geez, they needed that Bayswater. They just claw one back. They are 3-5-23. Mulgrave is 6-4-40. Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 11.5 minutes played. Third term.
I think that what they did there, Bayswater, and they did it very well, was they broke down that Mulgrave defensive line across half forward, where Bayswater have been breaking down a lot tonight and turning the ball over. A long kick just straight to the goal square has done the job on this occasion.
Well, that's what happens when you go direct, isn't it? And the Bayswater just proved that the tonic is to kick the ball long and to go straight, because heading to the pockets has not served them well so far in this match, but they can get back in it. Gladman went up in the ruck at that time against Evans, couldn't quite get the knockdown. We won't give that one to anyone, Wilbur, because it hit the deck, and we'll have another restart right in the middle of Bayswater Oval. 12.5 minutes gone. 17 points is the margin. Off the ground, that was handy there by Van der Lack, who just went straight into the arms of his opposition opponent. As now kick goes up for Mulgrave up towards the Sea of Coolest direction, bounces away from him. Nicely trapped that time there by Ben Gilling. eases the ball inside forward 50. Going after it was Booth. He tried to use his body. Coming in Knowles to lay a heavy tackle. The players call for holding the ball. The umpire said play on. It came out towards McLeod. He couldn't quite trap it. In came Jamar. He got wrapped up in a tackle by McLeod. That was good play. Bayswater a little trickle kick going over the boundary line and out of bounds. If it had it looked deliberate, but you can't play something like that deliberate when it only travels 2 metres. 75 metres out from the Mulgrave goal line.
They've gone very defensive here, Mulgrave too, with 2 free men in the middle. Doyle's one of them, and the other one is Cole.
Pyer brings the ball back in. Over the top there, Nevins got a little knockdown, but Jamar was quickly wrapped up in a tackle for Mulgrave and hands it back to the umpire. We'll have a ball up, squared it up a little bit here, 45-degree angle if that's the way you want to look at it. 70 metres out from goal. Jamar might be the recipient of this ball up, but over the boundary line it goes once again. Will Taylor, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Yeah, look, have a look at the round of grounds clearances at the moment. Bayswater forward to Mulgrave 2, and also the centre clearance. Bayswater dominating that one 3-0.
Ball comes back into play. Jamar nearly gave away a free kick here on hands and knees. It was Lester, got a little handball out wide looking for Howley. Got shuffled over the boundary line and out of bounds by McGilvray Smith. So a few stoppages in the last few moments of play. Can Mulgrave get the answer? Can Bayswater pile on 2 in a row? From the stoppage, it'll be a free kick to Bayswater. Gladman gave away the free kick, and now Bayswater will be away.
So what can they do here? Not exactly sure what to do as McGilvray Smith, the last goal kicker. Jeez. Instead, he tried to set it in the centre of the ground. Skew if boot would be an understatement off the boot, and they might be able to keep it in Bayswater. Just struggled to pick it up there, Blake Dixon, and in the end it pretty much ends up in the same position for a throw-in. But that's the issue tonight, Dan. They just can't seem to hit those pinpoint passes.
I'm not sure it's blowing out cobwebs. I am sure it's blowing out cobwebs at the moment because these boys train at night, so it can't be an issue playing at night.
Nevins behind, won the ruck tap, but happy to see it over the line, tapping it towards that area is Brad Fowler, another boundary throw-in.
And look, Mulgrave, they would be happy with this. They don't have to score at the moment, but Bayswater certainly got to get a move on.
And they've still got that loose man just sitting behind the contest at the moment as it's brought back into play. Now, and we got another whistle. It's going to be a free kick again. Bayswater have got another opportunity. Is it going to go? No, in fact, it's a umpire pointed the wrong way at one stage. Handball came off to Young. He juggled it, put him under pressure, but eventually got the ball inside. Schroeder flew up. Ball's going to come down. Leading the chase there is Eddie. He gave it off to his teammate in Wazer. Wazer snaps, and umpire runs a long way. And it's one behind. A chance there to almost put Bayswater to the sword. Instead, they stay alive. It's Mulgrave 6-5-41 leading Bayswater 3-5-23. 15 minutes play. Will Taylor with the Choose Tap stats.
Well, Bayswater really going on the hit-outs and that.
Oh, no.
And the hit-outs, Bayswater 17 to Mulgrave 4.
Well, the kick in went out of bounds on the fall, and Sia Course just banged it to the top of the goal square. That's the place to go. Who's going to be at the fall? The ball, that was a good handball though. Vanderlack got a quick handball out towards Barker. His kick was half smothered. Oh, they're going to be clever enough here, Mulgrave, to be able to put a shot on goal. And the mark has been taken about 45 metres out, far side of the ground out here at Bayswater Oval.
The Bayswater defence, they're just under immense pressure down there. And look, Mulgrave, their forwards are working their backsides off, just keeping the ball in there.
Bayswater defence have dropped extra men back too, Ray.
Yeah, no, look, it's very congested. But look, as I said before, Mulgrave don't care if they don't score.
So the kick comes on goal from 50 metres out. It's long, it's searching, it is home. Fantastic kick by Mulgrave. They kick their 7th goal on the board. And the Bendigo Bank scoreboard reads a 4-goal margin out here at Bayswater Oval. That was a great kick by Brad Fowler. Welcome back to the Mulgrave Football Club to kick an important telling goal for the Lions. And at the 17-minute mark of this final term, it stretched back out to that 4-goal margin. So at the end of the day, Ray Baird, it's even Steven in this term, but almost a quarter gone.
Even Steven, but not in a possession for the quarter, because Bayswater, they've had all the ball, but they haven't done a thing with it.
You'd expect another short term, and 3 goals for the evening is not going to do it for Bayswater. They need a few more. Nevins brought it to ground. They got the clearance forward. Rajab just went through his hands. He's following up, tried to one-juke the foot. He couldn't. Handball came out on hands and knees from Vanderlack. Didn't work. Mulgrave tried to get it off. West got the ball smothered before he could get to it. He's in there again, trying to pick it up. Over the top, he dives in. Ball still comes out. Eddie's got it. He gets it away, but again, the ball's not going particularly far. Hands and knees. Mulgrave just working harder. We got a whistle, and it's a throw. So in the end, it doesn't pay off. And looking for the ball is McGilvray-Smith.
Go direct.
What can he do? He does do that, BWS, but it's a poor kick. He's kicked it to numbers. Oh, great mark, though. I tell you what, outnumbered was Jack Callanan, but he's done well. Ball just floated over the top, and he's chipped back into play.
Good
very
play.
casually, and it's good. It's Shawnee Carlos. And this man, he can go back. He's been pretty good tonight, I tell you what. He had to go back a couple of years ago. His fitness was a little bit under. He's come back. He's been sensational tonight. We've seen him use the ball really well, and now he's got to take his opportunity and kick this goal from 30.
Well, Jack Callanan's had a fantastic game first up for Bayswater. Of course, we spoke to Neil Winderton before the game, and he had a great pre-season.
He is a good kick, Carlos. He won't have any issues with the distance and directly in front.
Most important kick of the game.
Slotted. Indeed it is, BWS. On his way in. It's not bad. And the umpire hardly moves. Carlos has kicked it. The boys get around him. He needed that one. 18 and a half minutes played. And they just again get one back. Bayswater are 4-5-29. They trail Mulgrave 7-5-47 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, look, Mulgrave, they wouldn't be happy with the loose man there down the corridor. You know, they all turned their back on the play. That was the thing, you know, because the forward's taken the mark. You still got to be aware of somebody running into that hole, and that's what Bayswater did in an easy goal.
And they'd be happy with that too, Bayswater, because they haven't been able to spot up that target inside 50 all night.
So the ball starts again in the middle of Bayswater Oval. Joel Galvin in the middle, almost copped one in the back. He's screaming for a free kick as well. The umpire said not to be. Dean Seacall wrapping him up. So we'll have a restart. 3 goals is the margin. 3 straight kicks. The scoring end is the way that Bayswater is kicking in this quarter. Can they go after it one more time? Getting tackled there was Cam McLeod. Ball scoops, spills out loose. Now Mulgrave get across the half-forward line on hands and knees. Picking it up there was Damien Murray. Got the little handball away to Rajab. On the left boot, kicks it up towards the wing position. It was a 2-on-1 situation. The 2 went out. The mark's been taken by Luke Parker. It's been strong. Good kick up the line too, finds Timmy Knowles. In a row there for the Bayswater Football Club, and all of a sudden the margin is narrowed back to 2 straight kicks. 21 and a half minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. It is still Mulgrave leading though, 7-5-47. The Bayswater Football Club are 5-5-35, Ray.
Yeah, and because Bayswater's got 2 in a row, it really gives them a sniff there. If they could just snare another one before this quarter ends, they're really in the mix. But look, they've just got to make sure that they do get the next one.
The floodgates are really open for Bayswater this quarter, I think, as they've been able to spot up targets inside forward 50. And Travis Gordon's covered a lot of ground tonight, so full credit to him for being able to kick the goal.
Found a way back here, Bayswater. Nevins won it down, but it's going to be the centre clearance for a Mulgrave kick. And he's high from Howell. It's not going to go particularly far, but head out to the outer side. Brought to ground, and a good wrapping up tackle. They'll ball it up eventually, you feel, and they do. So they've done well here, Bayswater, considering they lost Sean Leach. You can see him down on the boundary line on crutches. So important here. They've found a way back, even without that man. And we've seen plenty of interchanges tonight. On a reasonably warm night, they've done well. Scrapping kick came out, but Bayswater, they just seem to be using the ball well by hands at the moment. Galvin's got it along the wing. Kick was intercepted again. A poor kick was Gilling who got it. He didn't muck around. His kick wasn't great, but a good mark was taken eventually by Daniel Stokey. Already kicked 1 this evening, and he's just holding it up. We've played 22 and a half minutes, approaching 23, a 12-point margin. This is a pretty crucial stage of the game. Highborn, a chest mark taken in the end. Looks to be by Joel Galvin. He's got it in half back on the far side of the ground. The Scoresby Road end of the ground, if you know this ground pretty well. It's not a great kick in the centre ground. Turnovers are just killing them, and they're away in the centre square now. High ball, it's a bit scrubby. Players throw. Schroeder went up to bring it to ground, couldn't, and it went through legs. Schroeder's there, got legs in the end. Should have got a free kick and didn't in the end, and it's the ball up 30 out from Mulgrave's goal.
You can see Bryce Galvin moving further up the ground, and he's followed his man off the ground now. I think what Bayswater are trying to do is just isolate that key target inside forward 50.
Brought it to ground there, did Barker, got the kick away. It's heading out towards the far side. Tapping it on there was Nevins, and he'll see it out of bounds. Probably a good result just inside 50 for Mulgrave. Far side of the ground, we've played 23 and a half minutes. We've had pretty short quarters here this evening as well, so you wouldn't expect to be too much difference. Nevins, high ball out towards the boundary line, letting the chase is Matthew Young. He paddles it along the ground. In the end, Bayswater gained 20 metres.
How important is this next minute or so? If Mulgrave can get a goal, they'll all of a sudden break the back of Bayswater. But if Bayswater get a goal, all of a sudden the momentum's with them in the last term.
Yeah, the game's on. But and you look at the Bayswater forward line too. It's wide open with only one player down there. So if they can get the stoppages, get away from the stoppage, there's certainly a chance.
Nevins over the top of Edwards, but it went down to Tim Goldsmith. High ball, it's bouncing. It's a danger ball here for Bayswater. They do well, and especially through Travis Gordon. It's Joel Galvin in the end. He did very well.
He's been good too, Galvin.
Indeed he has. Oh, again, missing the target. Almost went in the hands of Shawnee Lester. It did fall into the hands of Luke Parker. He got wrapped up, got the ball out though, just inside the centre square. And I tell you what, Bayswater, I don't know how they're still in this. The amount of short kicks they've missed, especially probably in the last 5 or 6 minutes, has been unbelievable. They're just keeping themselves alive at the moment. And approaching three-quarter time, they just cannot let it go through. Whereas Mulgrave, as we said, goal here, and the momentum is still with Bayswater heading into this three-quarter time break, even if they don't score. It'll be interesting to see how fatigue plays. We've already seen a number of players cramping. The umpire throws it back up. Evans won it down to his teammate in McLeod. He couldn't do much with it. Gall came out of the pack. It's a high ball down there. Almost took the mark there. Gilling couldn't. Off the ground. Ways has missed it. He came through. And geez, wouldn't that have been important? In the end, it's just one behind. They moved to, I'm just trying to think, 7-6-48 rather than Mulgrave. Bayswater 5-5-35, 26 minutes played. Bendigo Bank scoreboard, third term.
And it is a very valuable point too, because that could be the difference at the end of the game. So
handy point.
Well, the big calls are coming early as the ball goes into the middle of the ground. It was a good kick in too, but Mulgrave managed to scramble a kick back forward over the top. That was okay by Schroeder. This time he has to use the opposite boot. Got a very valuable meterage though. That was fantastic. McGilvray Smith takes the mark in the middle of the ground, kicks it up towards half forward. Gordon's out there, so too is his teammate in Vanderlack. He'll be the first one to meet it. Right on his hammer there is Perry Cole, who worked himself into the play very well. Gordon comes in, gets a little handball away. They've still got the numbers in there. The Bayswater Football Club. McLeod on hands and knees, couldn't quite trap the football. They're going to get out of this through Leicester though, Mulgrave. He was wrapped up in a tackle. Everyone going after it. They know how important these last few minutes are of a third term. Ball bouncing up towards the wing position. Overrunning the ball there was Wallace. Gets down on hands and knees. Tries to knock it back to his teammates' advantage in Schroeder. The umpire said it was a little bit too high, and the ball will go in the arms of Schroeder. So, percentage play says to kick it to a spare man, but going backwards always doesn't suit. Ben Barker, he took the mark, so that was okay. Back to Schroeder on the left. Might go back to Barker here. They might be eating up the clock here, Bayswater. They might know how long's left. They've actually worked the switch really well tonight. It's just been one or two disposals along the way that's been letting them down. Kick goes into towards the middle of the ground. Still seems like there's a little bit of time here as Wallace takes the mark, goes out wide. That was okay. Mark's been taken out there by Damien Murray. On the right boot, finds Daniel Rajab. Almost on true centre wing position, far side of Bayswater Oval. He'll go short. Spots up his teammate there in Wallace. On the right boot, kicks it up towards the half forward line. Bouncing footy, tried to use his body well was Neil Winterton, but the boundary line beats all players, and over she goes for a throw in. 27 and a half minutes gone, third term here. The premiership quarter is what they call it. 7-6-48, I should say. Mulgrave 5-5-35 is the Bayswater Football Club, but it's 70 metres out from their goal. Can they get a little bit of a run on here? Going hard there was Cohen Howell on the bottom of the deck. He ain't letting that ball go nowhere, and the umpire will come in and bounce it 55 metres out from goal, Ray.
Yeah, look, I just couldn't understand Bayswater taking up the time there and kicking the ball backwards. They were on a roll. What they got to do is go all out attack, because if they could just snare another goal in this quarter, they're certainly in the game. But they messed around, they kicked it backwards. There's no logic in that at this stage of the game.
They're certainly still in the game. The margin is only 13 points as Daniel Rajab comes off with the blood rule, replaced by Mitch Grubb across the half-forward line as we wait for the umpire to restart this match. Brad Fowler comes on for another run as Cohen Howell has a rest. He's been good. Umpire throws the ball up now. Over the back of the pack, Leicester picked it up for Mulgrave, got a nice little handball away, and they're going to do this okay. Mulgrave, sold some candy nicely. There was David West on the left boot, tried to find Jamar, couldn't quite pull the mark down. Picked up that time there by Musa for Bayswater, swings around, kicks it up towards the half-forward line. They need to get in front. That's not how you're going to mark it, Mitch Grubb, but he was able to lay the spoil. Ball hits the deck in front of the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, and the umpire will come in and bounce it. 28 and a half minutes gone in this third term. There haven't been many goals kicked, but there have been a lot of stoppages. One thing's for sure, this has been a hard game of football, and there will be some sore bodies after this match tonight. Gelwin on hands and knees, got a little handball away. That was okay. Grub around the body, kicks the ball inside forward 50. There might have been a little bit of holding going on there. Travis Gordon was worked away from the football. Getting it away now there was Mulgrave, and they're going to stream away on the boot of Perry Cole. Left boot up towards the wing position. Free kick surely given away there against Damien Murray. The umpire saw it, and Mulgrave just might get themselves out of trouble here as Daniel Stokey, the co-captain, has the football. Short passes on into towards the middle of the ground. That was okay. Matty Young can take off here on the left boot. Goes up towards Jamar, and now all of a sudden Mulgrave are inside forward 50 towards the boot direction. In fact, that time David Wazer at the front spot, and he takes a strong mark. Now that is end-to-end football in the dying seconds of a third term, and a fantastic mark has been taken. And we talked about a goal that might break the backs of Bayswater. It's only 13 points the margin, Ray Baird, but all of a sudden this could really hurt.
And look at the kick from the midfield.
16 after 9, Radio Eastern 98.1. This is EFL Game Night. Barry Cott's back here in the studio. It's 17 after 9, and we will return for the last quarter of our game between Bayswater and Mulgrave in just a moment. And just a reminder that EFL action continues tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock, and we'll be covering the Division 2 game between Doncaster East and Mooroolbark. So the team will be there tomorrow. Big game, Doncaster East and Mooroolbark Division 2, starting at 1 o'clock. Now it's time to check some AFL scores, and one game being played tonight is the big grand final rematch between Hawthorn and Fremantle. And
Station sponsor.
EFL.org.au is a must visit for the die-hard Eastern Football League fan. In our news section, check out the latest news, feature articles and video programs, including the Friday preview. Have your say in the EFL poll, tip against your mates in the Vibromania tipping competition, and voice your opinion on the mighty EFL forum. Best of all, you can listen back to any EFL radio program at any time. To go live and local for your footy, head to EFL.org.au.
How would you like your coffin to look?
I think maybe my wedding photo would look good.
Like HMAS Melbourne, I spent the best years...
Overall, 80 to
Boundary.
56 in that third quarter. Free kick count was 7-2 in that second quarter. Inside 50, 15 to 10 in favour of Bayswater. Back to you guys.
Well, there you go. Braden in that third term, some fantastic goals, including one from ex-captain and returning back to the club, Brad Fowler. A fantastic goal up at the Mountain Highway end of the ground.
Yeah, just what they needed. Probably just steadied the ship there, I felt. Mulgrave, again, Bayswater's being let down by their turnovers, but what Mulgrave are doing is they're going really long and just being able to go down the other end of the ground, Dyson.
And we'll cross quickly boundary side to Georgina Carl for Akira Urgent Care, who has Mulgrave coach Ryan James.
I certainly do, boys. Now, Ryan, that was a fairly even quarter. What's going to get you over the line in this last term?
Doing a great job, our Akira Urgent Care boundary riders tonight in the opening game of the season. 14 points is the margin. We've hit three-quarter time already. If you're a Hawk supporter, you're home and hose. They're up by 7 goals as the umpire holds the ball aloft. But it's all about the EFL. It's all about Divi 2. It's all about tonight's game. 14-point margin to Mulgrave. Here's Braden.
And we're set for a cracking final term. Both ruckman went up, couldn't do much with it. And again, diving in. There is Nevins trying to lay a tackle, and eventually the umpire's going to come in and ball it up. So not getting too far to start. Bayswater, you felt when Leach went down in that second term, they were really going to struggle. The interchange, will they struggle now? Ryan James doesn't think they've got the legs to go with his side. We're going to find out the next half an hour or so. Mulgrave get the first clearance up forward, tap down, and that's Jamu. He's been good. Got a handball off. Free man sitting there is Ben Gillen. Can roll in and kick the goal if he likes, and he kicked it just to the left-hand side. That would have been crucial in the first 35 seconds of this final term. They send their lead out to 15 points. Mulgrave is 7-8-50. Bayswater 5-5-35. As Bayswater, they chip it back in, and they're just going to muck around with it at the moment. Mark's taken by Schrader in the back pocket on the broadcast side of the ground. He doesn't have much. He's got a run for him now, and he's going to go long to that target, and it's going to come to ground. They couldn't take the mark. They've got support, Bayswater. Diving in over the top. Improvised support is Fowler, and in the end, it's a ball up. And in the end, wrapped up in a good tackle there by Sean Carlos. Once more a ball up, and Mulgrave won't mind this at the moment. Couple of stoppages. I think they can run it out. Nevins over the top was up against Gladman. Again, this just diving in footy. Carlos is in over the top. as is Mitch Jackson. The tackle laid on Chris Doyle. He couldn't clear the footy. 3 minutes played. Ball came over the top, punched out by Gladman, heading towards the boundary line. We'll find it again. So plenty of stoppages in this first 3 minutes of the final term.
Well, you look going forward from Mulgrave, they've got man-on-man all over the ground, and it's a bit reminiscent of an under-10s game in that respect, with so many guys around the ball at one area, but man-on-man for the rest of the ground.
And in Mulgrave's forward line, there's a couple of players going out, and by a couple, I mean about 10 players. We've got a down-the-ground free kick. This is really costly. It's going to go against Bayswater being stupid in their back line. Ball's going to advance 50 metres down the line, and Waits is going to get the free kick. He's got a little short target. Bang, hits him up. Oh, my goodness. Bayswater, they've really cost themselves there. Neil Winterton has his hands out going, boys, what are you running? That's just not appropriate. Early in this final term, Ben Gilling's got the mark, and it was just some argy-bargy in the forward 50, Ray.
Yeah, look, the ball was right on the boundary line in front of us on centre wing. But
and 25, certain goal.
There was some push and shove down there, and 50 metres off the ball. The free kick was awarded to Mulgrave, and he short passed it. Now another 25 metres against Bayswater. A bit of undisciplined stuff there from Bayswater, and it's cost them a goal, and it's certainly put them behind the 8 ball.
It's more than a bit of undisciplined play there, Ray. That's certainly not good enough. Handley just kept going on, and he had his coach Neil Winterton right by his side whilst he was going on as well. There's no point going on about things. You're only going to continue to hurt yourselves, and that's exactly why the umpire had a gutful. He said, bad luck, we'll give you 25, and that certain goal comes from
and the runner's gone straight out to him, and he's coming straight off.
That's the epitome of stupid. I mean, they've given up 100 metres there. The ball was directly in front of our position in centre wing, and they've just handed them a goal and possibly the game, BWS.
Well,
who was the goal scorer, boys?
Ben Gilling kicked the goal.
So the umpire throws the ball back up now. They might get the chance to get a very quick reply here. Bayswater 20 metres out from goal. At the fall, the ball, little scrambly kick up there by Carlos. Hits to the top of the goal square. A kick off the ground by Trav Gordon. Hit the post. That would have been Lux of Fortune. And behind goes on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard for Bayswater at the 6.5 minute mark. The margin is back out to 5-6-36 to 8-8-56, so 20 points as the ball's quickly brought back in by Mulgrave now. Along the boundary line they go. Nice little handball over the top by Stokey. He's been good tonight. Got the handball across to Eddie, who's starting after the ball that time. Wazer on hands and knees. In fact, that time it was Darren Butler. Couldn't quite trap the ball. Nicely done by Galvin of the Joel variety. Got the handball backwards to go forwards. Now the ball's in the arms of Wallace. Kick up towards the half-forward line. Searching kick, almost being held without the football there. I would have thought was Jack Cullen, and he goes after it again. He's picked up in a tackle and then dumped on the ground. The umpire says, give it to me, boys. We'll have a bounce about 80 metres out from the Bayswater goal line.
Be a lot of tired bodies after this game, boys, and we've spoken about the cramping, and I think it's also due to a lot of these guys being at work today, and they've played a very taxing game of footy tonight.
Pyer throws the ball up. Over the top there of Gordon. Coming in hard there was Galvin. Trickles over the boundary line for another boundary throw in. Let's cross to Will Taylor thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Yeah, the first is pretty even at the moment at 3 apiece, but the hit out, it is Mulgrave dominating that 8-6.
Pyer brings the ball back into play. Winterton got slung out of the tackle. Goldsmith goes after it again. In fact, it was Fowler. Got hit pretty heavily, did Fowler.
He's been a very good player tonight, Fowler, back at Mulgrave. He's going to be an acquisition to them.
He'll be absolutely loving it too, especially if the Lions can take home the 4 points. Kick up towards the Booth direction. He takes the mark. He takes off to Booth. He centres for goal and he slams it home. That's his third, and that may be the nail in the coffin that Mulgrave have been looking for. They stretch the lead out to a very handy 26 points now. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross the 8.5 minute mark, it is 9-8-62, playing 5-6-36.
And just to back up what Dan Campbell said, Booth's obviously been at work all day because he took that mark, he's run 20 metres off his man, he's kicked the ball through the middle and cramped up. So he's obviously been at work all day today, Dan.
Oh, certainly. But Booth's been fantastic in those clutch moments tonight in tonight's game. He's certainly taken every opportunity he's got with 3 goals on the board, and he's been the difference so far.
They've burst out of the blocks in this final term, Mulgrave. They've just worn Bayswater down, and they've done a really good job to really extend their lead now. 26-point lead. I've got a feeling it's close to the biggest of the game now, and at 9 minutes gone in what has been a low-scoring game and plenty of stoppages and just a lot of forward pressure, it's been hard to score. Doyle got the clearance out of the centre. Mark was almost taken. It's going to be a holding free kick. Going to go the way of Bayswater, and we've just got another whistle. It might be, we got it down the ground. No, ball's just going to come back. Thought it might have been down the ground, but in there, just inside their defensive 50, Bayswater. They need to take the game on now. It's in the hands of, just trying to see who's got the footy at the moment. It's going to be a short kick anyway, out to the far side of the ground. And Winterton heads wide. Good short kick. They've just got to move it now. They don't have that many opportunities. Kicks into the centre. Mark's got taken by Winterton. Back into the centre. Shipping it around at the moment. Galvin's got it. And Joel, he's going to load up in the centre of the ground. He's got a couple of targets. They've got men just sitting back though. That's poor, and that's probably at 25 as well in the end. And now players are getting into each other once again. He just kicked it straight to about 3 Mulgrave players, and you can't be bombing away, especially when you're down by 4 goals, and it is a 25 in the end. Coming through, I think might have been a Callan in the end, came through and gave away the free kick, and probably a bit of undiscipline creeping into their behaviour now, Bayswater.
Yeah, it's frustration, that's all it is.
Cheeseman heads wide, and they can just run here, Bayswater. Arc night around Bayswater here this evening. McLeod was trying to pick it up, got cleaned up in the end, trying to dive in over West, couldn't do it. Coolis, he's been pretty classy tonight, missed his target, but it went through the hands of a Bayswater opponent. They can go in and have a shot for goal, loads up, might just bounce through, and it does. Mulgrave have probably sealed the deal now. That is a very nice goal. And it looks to be that of Robert Edwards. He has kicked Mulgrave's 10th. They moved to 10-8-68 and probably seal the deal. Bayswater 5-6-36.
Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Jeff Manalitza.
And things seem to get worse for Bayswater. Vanderlack, he looks like he's got a bit of concussion, blurred vision as well, so I don't suspect he'll come back tonight.
Well, he went down a few moments ago in the forward line, of course, and he stayed down for a while, so he's certainly had a tough night tonight, Vanderlack.
32 points is the margin. Safe to say this game is now done and dusted. Long way to come back here for Bayswater. Rajab has worked tirelessly all night. On the right boot, goes inside forward 50. Bouncing football or thereabouts. Mulgrave, they have the numbers. They have the ascendancy. Kick up towards the wing position. Nice mark taken there by Stokey. Co-captain with Robbie Edwards. They've both been very good tonight. On the right boot, kicks up towards the half-forward line. It was almost stolen out of the arms there of Gladman. Umpire nearly could have paid the mark, but the kick goes inside forward 50, and they're just absolutely lapping it up now, the Mulgrave Football Club. Mark has been taken only about 45 metres out from goal, and we just spoke of this man, Robbie Edwards. We spoke to him on the huddle on Wednesday night, and he was pumped for this match, and he'd love nothing more than to put through his second goal of the evening.
And that was a perfect example of the differences between the two sides. Mulgrave, they hit their targets when they're going forward, whereas Bayswater, they don't hit them at all.
So Edwards, he'll kick from 45 metres out. It's a floating kick. He started it right and it stayed right, and it goes through for one behind. Bendigo Bank scoreboard at the 14-minute mark of the final term sees Mulgrave move to 10-9-69. 33-point margin now over the Bayswater Football Club, 5-6-36. And they'll have another restart. Grubb on the left boot. Kicks it outside the defensive 50 arc. Ball bouncing. Oh, it might go straight back in here for Mulgrave as it does. And Lux of Fortune, the man who had the last shot on goal, Robbie Edwards. He doesn't look too confident after his last shot. He's a lot closer though, a little bit more of an acute angle, but he'll go back and kick from almost 45 degrees. And if he knows how he kicked the last one, he should be able to judge this one a little bit.
Left. Might be a better kick. It's still Mulgrave players in there putting plenty of pressure on. Handball out. In there picking it up is Musa. Got around. In fact, it's McGilvray Smith. He's already kicked one. A high ball. It's going to bounce towards the goal. Can they scrap one through? Might just be a nice little snappy to kick the goal. And it's a sensational little kick there. They've kicked their sixth now, Bayswater. They move to 6-6-42. Mulgrave are 11-9-75. Just trying to see who put that one
Might
through.
have been Grubb.
I think it was Grubb.
Yeah, it looked like it was.
Grubb.
Mitch Grubb, he's been very good tonight. He's kicked his second. And I tell you what, sorry, going down.
Oh, it was a very kind bounce there to Bayswater then to stay in play. It was almost Wayne Harms-esque, but with the bounce, Stevie Milne-esque as well. But look, Grubb's played all right tonight, kicking 2 goals on debut for his new club.
So back in the centre of the ground. It's still quite a long margin now. It's 33 points. Mulgrave with the clearance. A high torpedo-like ball out the back. No one's going to be able to pick it up cleanly. Joel Galvin had to do well. Missed his target and it found Luke Parker. He couldn't pick it up. Going back to go forward now, Mulgrave. They'll head inside 50 again. A chip kick just in this position. Aaron Edwards kicked one from here moments ago and it falls into this man's arms. David Wazer. He has had a couple of opportunities on goal tonight. Hasn't been able to follow through, but now he'll go back 45-degree angle from about 45 metres. And an attempt to kick Mulgrave's 12th of the evening.
I've liked his intent all night, David Wazer. He's played a good game.
Yeah, he's a bit of an aggressive player. We've seen that again tonight. On the left, it might stay to the left-hand side, and it does. One behind. Mulgrave are 11-10-76. Bayswater are 6-6-42 as this game approaches time on 18 minutes played.
There's some very tired defenders down there for Bayswater. I was just watching then when Wazer came out and took that mark. His opponent Schroeder just couldn't be bothered running the 20 metres to keep up with him.
So Bayswater started off again. Kick goes out wide. Eddie comes in now for Mulgrave, gets a little handball over the top. That was okay to Stokey. He might go back to Eddie here. It was a bit of a hospital handball over the top again. That was okay. Here is that man, David Wazer. He might try the miraculous kick here. He got a little shove in the back and the umpire said it was fair. And over it goes for one behind. 11-11-77 at the 18-minute mark. Mulgrave plays 6-6-42 Bayswater as Mitch Grubb on the left boot. In fact, it was Schroeder. Gets it out wide. That was okay. Rajab, who's been very serviceable tonight for Bayswater, probably their best player, I would think, kicks it up towards the wing position. Now it's Grubb on the right boot, kicks it up towards McGilvray Smith. He sold some candy, sold a little bit more. Kicks the ball from about 70 metres out. It was a floating, wafting, pofting kick looking for Travis Gordon. Right on his hammer was Rhett Wilsmore. And over the ball goes for a boundary throw-in, 20 metres out from the Bayswater goal line.
It's one of the very rare times that Bayswater have had an open forward line with their entries tonight.
But it was a very scrappy entry as well. You know, it just wasn't good enough if they expect to win the game.
It's been their problem. They've been okay with setting up their movement from end to end. It's just been that one or two disposals, as I've already mentioned, that's letting them down, driving the ball inside forward 50. It certainly hurts when you have your spearhead and superstar player Wayne McInerney out of the side, and they'll be certainly looking forward to getting him back onto the park as the umpire has paid a free kick here to the Bayswater Football Club. I think this might have been off the ball. There's been a lot of questions being asked here. So the free kick will go to Bayswater.
Yeah, just a little holding off the ball. I think that's all it was, BWS, but a little bit too late, you'd have to say, isn't it?
Well, you can never give up, Braden, and that's an attitude that Bayswater will certainly be wanting to go with here. Kick goes onwards to goal and straight over the goal umpire's head for Bayswater's 7th goal of the afternoon. 20 minutes gone here on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 7-6-48, plays 11-11-77. And as we said, well, the game is done. They've got to keep going, right?
Yeah, because the thing is, Division 2 is going to be that close this year. So, look, you've got to run every game out because you just cannot concede goals towards the end of the game because it's going to hurt you percentage-wise at the end of the year.
Jack Callanan kicks his first of the evening. We're back in the centre of the ground. We've just ticked into the 20 minutes of this game. Nevin's won it down. He's been pretty strong in the ruck, but they haven't been able to get the clearance. There's probably not too many hit-outs to advantage. Ball's going to come out. Don't know if he paid there to Wallace. In the end, we play on in the centre of the ground. Good smother. Picking it up there is Wallace again. Handball's off. Gives it off to Joel Galvin. And they've got a bit of pace now to move it inside 50. A little bit of candy. High ball. Can they just work position? Again, a loose man's working for Mulgrave. Bayswater got a couple of players on hands and knees. Oh, good tackle there late on Cheeseman. And it is holding the ball. So they've come to the party. Oh, they might have almost taken advantage here, Bayswater, but luckily stopped just in time. And Bryce Galvin has laid a very nice tackle. And he can go back and slot Bayswater's 8.
So the consolation prize is coming up here for Bayswater. I'm not too sure they can peg back the margin as it is at the moment, but certainly percentage-wise it bodes well.
They've been there or thereabouts tonight, but missed opportunities have just capped off their game. That won't be a missed opportunity though, as Bryce Galvin goes back and slots a goal. So they move along now, Bayswater, to 8-6-54. They trail Mulgrave for 11-11-77 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, look, a consolation goal's okay, but Ryan James wouldn't be happy with the way that Mulgrave are letting Bayswater get these goals right at the end of the game. They've done all the hard work, and what they really need to do now is just stop the opposition from scoring.
I just quickly want to point out, boys, I mean, the last quarter was 30 minutes, and there's been similar amount of goals scored this quarter. So, look, I don't hold out much hope for Bayswater, but we've probably still got probably 7 or 8 minutes left in this final term.
Bye throws the ball back up in the middle of the ground. A great contest today between Nevins and Gladman. Very hard to separate those players as the ball goes up towards the half-forward line now for Mulgrave, trickling over the boundary line and out of bounds. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. EFL season kick-off night out of Bayswater Oval. It's where it starts, it's where it finishes. It is the home of the Eastern Football League, and what a fantastic conditioned oval it is at the moment. Bayswater, though, the home side, they're trailing and they're going to, well, we're calling this game, we have called this game over. Time will probably beat them, but last 5 minutes they haven't given up. Gladman over the top, got the knockdown. Galvin came in, got the little handball away to McLeod, broke a tackle, broke two, kicked it straight into Dean Siakulas. Snap around the body inside ball 50. Oh, that was clever play. It comes out towards the David Wazer direction. He couldn't quite trap the ball, but the third effort was fantastic. Little handball by Butler to Siakulas. Will kick it to the top of the goal square or thereabouts. Booth couldn't get a favourable bounce over the boundary line. It goes 25 metres out from the Mulgrave goal line.
You mentioned before, Dan Campbell, about the lucky bounce down in the Bayswater goal square and they got a goal. Well, that was the unlucky bounce for Mulgrave there because David Wazer was set up but the ball just didn't bounce his way.
Stephen Milne, eat your heart out.
High comes in, Eddie over the back of the pack, got a little fist on it. Going in hard there was Muse, who brought his player to the ground. Ball about 10 metres out from the Mulgrave goal line. Player screaming for holding the ball. One of those was Brad Fowler. The umpire said, "Give it to me, boys, we'll have a bounce." 24 minutes almost gone now in this final term. Handy lead to Mulgrave. They'll start the season with a W. Knowles tried to get boot to ball. He did, but it only went about 5 metres. Oh, the top of the goal square. This is an interesting looking kick by Edwards. Goes as high as it did long and across the face of goal for one behind, and through it goes for their 12th of the evening. Mulgrave 11-12-78 plays 8-6-54. 24 minutes gone.
I expect just to see a big long torpy down the middle of the ground. Instead, no, a little short option. Oh, Mark taken in defence while Winterton, Bayswater skipper, he's looking around. They're just chipping it at the moment. He wants to move it, but I don't think there's too much run left in the legs of the Bayswater players.
Will Taylor, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Yeah, at the moment, Sinclair still in favour of Bayswater 5-1, and around the ground 7-5 in favour of Mulgrave.
McGilvray Smith heads to the outer side. A bouncing footy doesn't favour many of his teammates. Almost a high tackle there. Could have got one there. Winterton didn't. Ball scrambles out. Bayswater out the back of the pack. Bit of a quarterback roll. Takes a bounce now. Does Galvin. Oh, maybe Carlos in the end. His kick was smothered. Bouncing footy went over the top of the head of Travis Gordon. Good tackle laid there by Galvin. Just inside the centre square. Bayswater still to the righty radio dial. Still trying to scrap one forward. But they can't do much as Mulgrave just sent another man to sit back loose in defence, which they've done for most of this half, and Bayswater haven't done much to counter it, which is pretty surprising, you'd have to say.
Oh, certainly, and they've set up well, Mulgrave, tonight. I noticed Fowler was around the pack before, just one kick behind the play.
And I don't know if that's an advent of having a coach on the ground, but surely that's something for your assistant coaches to see and notice that they've got that loose man, as the ball hasn't progressed particularly far out of the centre squares. The players, we've seen so much of this rolling maul this evening where players have just dived in over the footy, and Mulgrave have been great at it. They've been content to see it in there, lock it up for a couple of minutes, and that's probably where they've really dominated, and then they've been able to get the ball out the back and find it to a quarterback roll as we just head inside Bayswater's forward 50. Siakulas did really well, got round a couple of players, headed to the wing, and he's got Wazer. Ball was smothered. Wazer went to ground. He's got a teammate in support in Edwards and his skipper, the co-captain. Ball's coming out now to Eddie. He scraps it along. He's away. Shows a bit of pace. Kicks. Got a lead. And a fly out the back. And this man is going to run in and kick a goal. Surely, no, he couldn't do it there. Booth wanted his fourth. And Bayswater clear again. But it's going to come straight back into the arms of Matthew Young. Gives it to his teammate. He tries to... didn't take the goal instead. Good kick comes from Gladman. Inside 50 mark will be taken. No. Umpire says play on. Bit casual there, Mulgrave, but they've still got possession. Ball's with David Fowler. On his left, it's a spiralling mung of a footy. Bayswater have got the numbers. Cam McLeod can clean up, and he's got a target, and they're away now.
Some very tired footballers out there, though.
They certainly are, as Wallace on the left boot for Bayswater kicks it up towards the wing position, nicely fisted it away, and it came back to basically where Wallace had kicked the football. So over the boundary line it goes. Half forward line for the Mulgrave side. Probably be looking to finish on a high out here. They'll take the 4 points, but a last goal would be the icing on the cake, wouldn't it? As Siakoulis drives the ball in towards the Eddie in Booth direction at the fall. The ball Wazer might be able to get onto this. Knocked over there by Barker. He went after it again and laid a pretty hefty tackle. But the free kick is going to go to the way of the co-captain, Robbie Edwards, who's slotted 3 goals himself for the evening. And he'll go back to put through his 4th and be the major goal kicker on the night. Both co-captains have been very good tonight.
Yeah, certainly, and great call by the umpire just then. You want the footy, you're in there first, you deserve to get the free kick, and he's worked as hard as anyone on the ground tonight, this man.
27 and a half minutes gone in this final term. Robert Edwards comes in from about 35 metres. You'd nearly call it point blank, but that would be too harsh because he's missed it to the left-hand side. He tried to kick the ball a little bit too hard. That would have been the icing on the cake, but it doesn't matter. Game, set and match to the Mulgrave Football Club out here at Bayswater Oval tonight. It was a fantastic effort by the Lions. Final score is 11 goals, 13-79. Bayswater 8-6, 54. The better side won on the day, guys.
Yeah, they certainly did. Look, Mulgrave, overall, their skills were better. They hit their targets better. Their entries, particularly in that second quarter into their forward 50, was far better than Bayswater. Bayswater, they had 3 or 4 injuries that certainly restricted their movements on the bench. But no, I think that all credit has to go to Mulgrave. I just thought that they outplayed Bayswater.
I think to an extent Bayswater will run off their legs a bit tonight. You'd expect that being that many men down, but also early on in the game the ball would be turned over. Mulgrave would have players running forward of the ball quicker than a lot of those Bayswater defenders, and just kick so many opportunistic goals as we mentioned before. So that's been the difference in the end, and of course Adam Booth tonight stood up in those clutch moments up forward for Mulgrave, and difference on the scoreboard has also been those multiple goal kickers for Mulgrave.
Yeah, they certainly have. Robbie Edwards, look, he come in and kicked 3, the co-captain down there. He was certainly a pivot point for them down forward. But look, I like the return of Brad Fowler. I just think that he's going to give this Mulgrave side a bit of grunt back that they've probably been missing for the last couple of seasons.
I see Jeff Manalitza and Georgina Carl down there. They might actually have Brad Fowler, but they've got somebody. Jeff, take it away.
Yeah, we do. We've got Brad Fowler here with us. And Brad, congratulations. First game back this season and back to your old club. How does it feel?
Yeah, no, it's good just to get off to a good start for the year and having a ball. It's the last sort of hurrah for a few of us, and we're just going to enjoy the rest of the year.
And the pre-season training, a hard pre-season for you?
Oh, when you start getting a little bit older, you start taking a few little shortcuts. You get out of a little bit of running. So, yeah, no, it's tough enough. It's good.
And what's it like playing night footy? You don't get an opportunity very often to play at night. Is it very different? Obviously, you train at night, but a game situation, is it much different?
Not here, because the lights are fantastic. So I'd be more than happy to do more night games. I reckon fantastic. You get a good crowd and it's enjoyable. It's good. Something different.
And you've got the bye next week. Now, is that a good thing, do you think, or a bad thing? Obviously, you've built up a bit of momentum now, but obviously, as you can tell, quite a few of the boys are feeling it after today's first game.
I think it's good for the older ones, and it's not so good for the younger ones. So I'm sure we'll be training pretty hard over the next few weeks.
Well, congratulations and good luck for the season.
Thank you very much to Jeff Manalitza, speaking to the former Premiership captain Brad Fowler, who's returned to the club with a handful of mates this year to help the Lions go on their merry way. They're a side that's been touted as a big improver in season 2014. Have they done enough tonight, Ray Baird, to suggest that they are a side that could vie for top 4 position?
Yeah, they certainly are a side that could vie for top 4, but you can't just put it all on one game. We've only seen one game so far this season, but look, if they can show that form, and as I just said before, I like the return of Brad Fowler. It gives them a bit of grunt. I like the work also of the 2 big ruckmen. We thought that losing Alan Cleven at the end of last year might have been a downside for him, but Big Latman and Goldriff, they've certainly teamed very well, and they certainly give their on-ballers first use of the ball.
I was really impressed with both ruckmen tonight. I mentioned it late in that final term. I thought it was a great tussle all day. We always like watching the ruckmen go about their bit, and they certainly did their efforts to get their players the first opportunity for the football.
Oh, look, it's a huge bonus when you're getting the ball out of the clearances. But look, they had some great players right across the board, Mulgrave. I like the work of Matt Young and also Jamo. I just thought that he was a very good player. And Matty Young. Matty Young played very well. Robbie Edwards, their co-captain, was fantastic. And I'm looking at the Bayswater side. Look, I know people might think I'm a bit critical of Joel Galvin, but he gets a lot of the ball, but he also does a lot of misses his targets.
Well, I've been looking forward to this for 6 months. Here's the song. Boom, boom. And a little bit of yellow too, Braden Ingram.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see Bayswater players just coming off the ground now. I think Neil Winton might have given them a fair discussion. And I think, boys, for me tonight, they were pretty competitive. At the end of the day, it was the turnovers. They were really in that at quarter time. They got blown out of the water probably in that second quarter. They only scored one behind. But they had opportunities, and I think that's what would disappoint Neil Witherton, and he's a coach. Very good. Brian Handley as well. Other than that disastrous 50-metre penalty, 25-metre penalty he gave away. Other than that, Mitch Jackson as well, Benny Barker. So there's a number of good players. Carlos as well, yeah, exactly. So it was a really good performance. I think the only thing, though, was Mulgrave was more of a team performance. I looked down that list and I think, I called most of those players tonight. They all had an influence.
Look, they've got a great midfield. There's no doubt about that. But I just see that they've got the same deficiency as they had last year. They need a key tall forward who can kick goals. And that's going to win them finals matches. Sure, your midfield will get you there, but you need a key forward to kick goals in finals.
A lot of coaches, I said in the pre-game, a lot of coaches have been selling the unpredictability and flexibility line this season for their clubs who might not boast a Nathan Thompson or any of those blokes up forward. But it's going to be interesting to see how those clubs go this season.
The man who saw it all happen on paper was Wilbur, riding the stats chair today, thanks to Choose Tap Stats. Give us the final rundown. Thanks, Will.
Absolutely. Well, Mulgrave only one hit stat for the whole game. That was the Mutts inside 4.
Boundary.
8-6 in favour of Mulgrave. Mutts inside 4. In the possession count, 279 by Bayswater, 216 by Mulgrave. The Gurus 42-37 in favour of Bayswater, 16-5 centre clearances, 32-26 the other way to Mulgrave. The hit-outs, 74-38 in favour of Bayswater in the hit-out section, 20-14 in the free kicks in favour of Bayswater, and inside forward 50s, 53-37 to Mulgrave.
Boundary.
Fantastic stuff, Will. One thing's for sure, we'll be definitely getting you a new microphone the next time you are on air. Let's cross down boundary side, thanks to Akira Urgent Care, to Georgina Carl.
Boys, I've got a very happy co-captain of the Mulgrave Footy Club, Rob Edwards. Now, couldn't have asked for a much better start to the season, Rob.
Yeah, no, it's good to get the 4 points first round, and even though we didn't play particularly well throughout the game, the ones that you win ugly are the ones that you take the most out of, because you've still got a lot to work on, but still managed to get the 4 points. But all credit to Basie, they played really well.
And a great personal performance for yourself as well today. You had plenty of the footy, kicked 3 goals. Got to be happy with that.
2 goals, 3, I think. Didn't get the third. But no, pretty happy. More just happy to see the forward line work with the structures and everyone plays their role, and that means that everyone should get their own shots on goal. And today I was the lucky one, but Boothie and Ben Gilling both stood up with 2 as well, so it was a team effort.
I think BUWS better check his scoring sheet tonight. Now, first game of the season, how do you reckon you'll pull up tomorrow?
Pretty sore, and there's an early morning, get down to see the under-18s tomorrow at North Ringwood at 9:40 and then back here for the 2s, so no time for recovery, but I'm sure the boys will be happy and they'll just get through it.
Let's throw it up to the boys upstairs.
Robbie, it's Ben Warren-Smith up here, mate. Congratulations on getting the first win on the board for the year. It's an important one for the club just to get that W on the board. What area of the ground do you felt that you were most on top of tonight?
I thought the back line really stood up tonight. There was a lot of entries early and a lot of entries in that third quarter as well, but they managed to quell Bayswater's forwards and just kill the ball when it needed to be killed and use it well, and they did. So I think the back line really stood up tonight.
What was the feeling like at three-quarter time? Because the game was still in the balance, and what was Ryan James's message to you boys? Because